Freak out there. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Gianluca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and all United States.FM network. This is Luca Zanna, and I'll be your host. Now, guess what? I am back from the dead. Yes, I had the last Sunday. I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. More important, the week was terrible. I could not speak. I was ready to go to Shots, this gun show in Las Vegas. I was all excited. Guess what? I couldn't even open my mouth. I never had something like that. I mean, this is really serious. I tell you, I was able to still work and function, but I could not talk. So anyway, I missed you last Sunday, but I'm back here. And honestly, it was good because I had the chance to think a little bit what's going on right now in this country in the last just few days. As I said, I had a lot of hope for President Trump. At the same time, I always have doubts because it's good to have doubts. After all, they are human beings. Every politician is a human being. Of course, Trump has never been really a politician, but he's still a human being. So I don't have complete dogma or complete faith in any human being. That's healthy, I call it. But at the same time, yes, I had hope. Doesn't mean that I need to agree with everything he's doing, but I tell you. And I will comment more during this hour. This is for me, like a miracle. I hope, like a dream. I hope I'm not waking up. I hope we continue. I hope, of course, we're going to keep the right direction. And also, we don't forget that it's still supposed to be a republic. And not because Obama abused executive orders is going to create a new type of, let's say, climate, like a new type of continuing what Obama was doing. But at the same time, I say, if Obama did executive orders out of his insane brain and the pen and the ink that we pay for, I think yes, and they are all unconstitutional. I think a president had the right to remove those unconstitutional, tyrannical acts. That's the bottom line. The funny thing was that Obama was so, worried about, I say, now new president, Mr. Trump, you better go through Congress to repeal my acts, my executive orders. Screw you, Obama. Screw you with all my heart. Seriously. So I think right now is exciting. So I want to really spend a little bit of this time in this hour analyzing what's happening. Because I think this is so important. This is so important because generally, you may agree or not with Trump, but what he's doing is out of the control of both parties. And I tell you, I don't think anybody in the last maybe 50 years ever done anything like that. And I'm very proud of this. I'm really proud. It gives me a lot of hope. Let's start, first of all, a little bit on what's going on here with the first thing he did. He went to work. I mean, everybody else in Washington, when they got elected, look at Obama. He took his own damn time, just to golfing around. And normally they don't think that's a serious job. It just, it takes their time. No, but President Trump went there the same day of the inauguration. He wanted to go into office, our office. So that's the point. Right there, I tell you, I have a lot of respect for that. Now, the funny thing, if you're a Democrat, if you're a blue collar, if you're a union guy, okay? Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I mean, I'm not for union unless, I say the union is supposed to be a sort of situation that you can decide if you want to be part or not. I believe in that. The people, the workers, have the right to organize themselves, but at the same time, they cannot force you as an individual, to be part of their organization. Otherwise, you cannot work. Like, for example, in some states, I think that's tyranny. But at the same time, if you want to organize yourself, that's your right. But guess what? All these union leaders who supported Hillary, guess what? They just met with Trump, President Trump, just a few days ago, and they were super happy. But the reality is this one. President Trump is doing more for the blue collars than any other president from the Democratic Party or Republican Party have done. And sometimes, don't get me wrong. I believe in free trade, and I don't like president, in general, dictating the way we're supposed to trade, but at the same time, what we had so far, it wasn't free trade. There was just the monopoly of corporations. They pretty much decided how to, let's say, use America as a dump area. That's what they did. So what we had wasn't free trade. There was never really free trade. All the TPP, NAFTA, CAFTA, it's just a mafia of big corporations deciding how to destroy America from within, using it for the dumping their crap made in other countries. That's it. So that part I agree completely. It's being bad. And for you Democrats who were supporting Hillary, or were supporting, all the other people before Hillary, even, the Republicans, I mean, think about all these damages that the NAFTA, CAFTA, and all this North American trade deal done to America, with China, of course. So Trump is the only one, at least, he's trying to address that, and he's doing it. I tell you, that for me is really amazing. Then another aspect, as I said, there's an hysteria out there. I mean, they're condemning Trump like he's been already 20 years in service, in public service. This guy has done nothing yet. He didn't drop any bomb yet. If you're really Democrats who are so worried about Trump, you should be now throwing rocks at Hillary, at Obama, all the legal wars, all these billions of dollars destroyed that could have been used here in our country. Look, Obama, what he did just the last few days before he left office. This $200 million to Palestine. Why? That's theft. That's complete theft. I don't care if it's Palestine. I don't care if it's Iran. I don't care if it's Israel. That's our money. How many bridges we could have built. How many homeless we could have fed. So that's my point. Stop playing party. Stop being just brainwashed by the propaganda. Judge the man by his own actions. You may not like everything. That's fine. But look right now what he's doing. Nobody else ever done it. So if you're a Democrat, you really think that Trump is so bad against the blue collar, look what he just did for the American worker. Look what he just did with the unions. I mean, the union leaders, they were there saying, Trump is a good guy. Unbelievable. And they were all supporting Hillary just a few days before. So that's amazing. But there is so much more I want to talk to you in the show, and I want some help. After all, I'm just a guy with an accent, and to articulate sometime, I like to have also somebody else's opinion, input, especially from a man that has been around a little longer than me, an older guy that has seen a lot of things before even I was born. I like that. I like to know what's going on, especially what happened to this country before. His name is Ken from Michigan, one of my best friends I ever had, and I'm so proud to call him a friend. Ken, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Lucas.
Good job, my friend. So listen, first of all, what do you think about Trump? You think he's performing pretty cool in the last few days? I mean, since he took office in 7 days, what do you think about his performance?
Oh, I think he's done excellent. But look, if you listen to his speech, he said 1/20/2017. The people today are getting back the power. We're giving the people back the power to the people. But what he's saying is he's restoring the republic. I wish he'd come out and said that, because that's exactly what it means when you give the power back to the people. He's restoring the republic.
Yeah.
And most people probably didn't even catch that. When we got the power, it ain't a majority where the majority can vote away your rights. Under the republic, every man's got his individual rights.
Exactly.
So I've been very, very pleased with Trump. I don't know how anybody could even voted for Hillary. I don't know how she could got 500 votes, but obviously the dumbing down has worked pretty good on the Democrats.
Yeah.
But no, I've been very happy. Then I heard today that he's going after the vaccines with the CDC and all them on the vaccines. Can you imagine you have a newborn baby and they give it 5 to 6 to 7 shots right after it's come out of the womb? I mean, how much damage are we doing to our children on these vaccines? I got so much stuff that not just Obama, but all of them have been doing for the last 35 to 40 years. This country in the last 35 to 40 years that I've been around 72 years. I'll be 73 in May. I never thought I'd see the day that our country was in this kind of shape that it's in. And is it going to take a man like Donald Trump to bring it back? Well, he's bringing a lot of it back. He's done a lot, and I don't think he's been in 7 days yet. Till Friday, it'll be 7 days.
Yeah.
So you can say really in 5 days he's brought back a lot of our freedoms back, and hopefully we the people will stand up behind him and hold our freedoms this time.
Let's talk a little bit, because I like really, this is something that normally I don't do much on the show. I try to talk about topics that they can be always, informative, and doesn't matter what time of the year but this is something so important, because I really believe it's like American history in happening. I mean, I don't remember anything like this. Of course, I was even here. I just came here 18 years ago. But, even the last probably 20 years, not even close to that. The last time I heard something like that, and I heard because I was even born, of course, and even wasn't perfect. He had a lot of things, unfortunately, that I didn't like he did. But JFK was the only guy that he was trying to address things in this style. I mean, talking about the Federal Reserve, talking about, of course, the hidden powers, talking about the secret government. I mean, and then, of course, he got killed. Not a surprise. And he was trying to bring at least back to the power to the people. That's the point. Even, of course, he did something that I didn't like with the United Nations at the time. But what do you think? Is something really since, when was the last time we had a president, at least he was talking and doing things like him since, I don't know, the time of George Washington? What do you remember?
Oh, exactly. John F. Kennedy, when he went in, I think he just went into politics because his whole family's in it. But when he seen what they's doing, and what does John Kennedy and Donald J. Trump have in common? Neither one of them could be bought. It ain't the money that they need. They both had plenty of money, and so when they couldn't buy Kennedy off, what happened? Well, he got killed. So hopefully that ain't what they're trying to do to Trump, because I don't think they can buy this man off. I think this man is pure in the heart, and he believes that the American people deserve the right to be free. Each and every one of us, no matter what color, race, religion, or anything. Like you said, we all bleed red blood.
Yeah.
So they called it a dark speech. I didn't see nothing dark about it. I seen a lot of light coming out of that speech.
I mean, that's exactly, you realize, very well that these media, they're owned by huge corporations, that they are the front of these bankers, international bankers, that their goal is to destroy America's sovereignty and to create a global government. So I would like to ask to them, what is dark in saying, I want to put America first? I mean, finally, we are tired to pay for the rest of the world. Finally, we need to think about our own poor, our own workers. What's wrong with that? I mean, that's the complete propaganda that, unfortunately, I think only on zombies out there still can stick in their stupid brain. Because I tell you, if I was a Democrat, if I was, anything, a worker, blue-collar worker, I would say, what's dark with that? I want to be sure that my future, my family is fed, that we don't work 3 jobs to make half money we used to make 50 years ago. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, the guy, what he's doing, I think, is exceptional. And I'm proud, really, because I tell you, the last 8 years, I got really depressed. I love America, but America, it is not these politicians. I mean, and the same problem, this problem that they use the name of America, and they destroy that name, and we are here, and, sometimes we forget that that's the America. No, the America is not Obama, it's not Bush, it's not Trump. About Trump, what he's doing, I tell you, he's bringing hope into the American principles. I really believe that. Now, people may say, I don't like his stances on immigration. First of all, what's wrong with that? I mean, and this is coming from an immigrant. Myself, I'm a former immigrant. If you tell me that this country has no control of their borders, this is no more a country. This become completely la-la land. The point is, you are not a country if you don't control your borders. But who is on the other side saying that we don't need borders? These globalists, they want to destroy American sovereignty, and they want to make us become part of the global government, New World Order, where we're all slaves. That's the reality. That's why I don't want to give up my American right as a citizen of this country, because nobody else has these rights. You can go in Canada, you're screwed. You can go to Mexico, you're super screwed. You go to Europe, you're triple screwed. Okay? So no, they don't have a Bill of Rights, they don't have a First Amendment, they don't have a Second Amendment, they don't have all the rest of the Constitution and also the Declaration of Independence. They're all slaves. More I talk to friends in Canada, for example, or in Australia, they're still under the freaking Queen, for God's sake. It's 2017. They're still under the crown, for God's sake. So forget what we are. Don't forget what we are. Now, what do you think about, beside the fact that, of course, is straightening up, or at least try to bring back jobs into this country? Even, of course, I believe that it's not really government job. The government job is to remove his ass out of our life, and that's what he's doing. He removed more than 75% of regulation just in few minutes. Did you see that executive order removing all these Obama's monstrosities regulation from these small, medium businesses? Like, we try to make a buck here. They harass us with all this stuff. What do you think beside that? What do you think he did great the last few days?
Oh, I think everything he done is great so far. I can't find anything wrong. A lot of people are holding against him because he put a banker in there on his, on his committee. But if you want to find out how to rob something, who would you go to? Would you go to me, or would you go to a guy that's been successfully robbing for 50 years?
Yeah.
Well, then sometimes you have to work with the people that knows that they know what the bankers are doing to find out what they're doing. So I think that's probably what he's doing right there. And then he's got it where these guys can't go to work for the government for 5 years. They came on his committee. They can't. Once they're through here with him, they're finished. They can't run out and get a job making $1 million a year like Obama's going to give speeches, and hopefully he'll get $750,000 like Bill Clinton did for doing nothing. He did nothing but wreck this country from day one till the day he left, and he done more damage at the end leaving than he did when he came in.
And also another thing, I really like, he promised about Obamacare. One thing he did, of course, Obamacare was passed by the law, and I think it's right constitutionally that a Congress, even of course was a bunch of traders, we know that, and so of course the Supreme Court Justice that he gave the final vote was a complete paid-off bastard, but regardless, Congress was supposed to repeal it, and I believe in the process. But my point is, at least he remove the fines on people who cannot afford Obamacare, who cannot afford this overpriced, overinflated new, let's say, fees from these insurances, and then they also get fined. That's ridiculous. That's an insult. So I'm glad at least to remove the fines, and at least to set the tone straight to say, let's go back to business now. We have no more excuses. We have Congress, we have the House, and we have the presidency. And you know what? People may say, you know what? That's terrible. Guess what? Before it wasn't perfect, but it still was doable. Now it's terrible. Because maybe you think, guys, that some of you got some free stuff. The rest of us had to die. This country is being bled to death. So how dare you? First of all, I always believe, insurance is not a freaking right. Okay? Health insurance is something that the government is supposed not to say. I believe in charity. I believe in things like that, but government, that's not part of your human right of health insurance. Because health insurance, if it's free, means that you're a slave. Because, they give you free health insurance when you're in prison or when you are a slave under your master. I have no masters. I want to be free. And I was doing so freaking fine before. I used to pay $130 with my Humana before Obama. $130. I know it was some sort of a catastrophic plan, but I had better deductible, good plan. I don't really go to the doctors unless somebody shoot me. What do I need it for? No. I had to destroy everybody's life, and unfortunately the economy paid the price too. So I'm so glad we are working on that. I'm glad about, of course, the situation with the even this fact of what's wrong with the stopping for a moment this influx of refugees that we have no freaking clue where they're coming from. Okay, that's ridiculous. And people say, you're a racist. No, I'm not racist. I think what is right is right. Okay, we cannot just open the borders like we have no borders and think that everybody's welcome here. Meanwhile, our people are freaking dying. I mean, it's insane that Obama gave billions of dollars for refugees from Syria or wherever they're from. They tell you they're from Syria. They can be from any place, from hell, without any type of vetting process, without even a passport, for God's sake. And then they give them also free airfare, free lawyer, free housing, and free benefits. And at the same time, they give also $1,000 at Walmart. Free card. Meanwhile, the regular immigrant, that probably is in a worse shape than the refugee, coming from Europe, it takes probably years before even he gets a green card. So that's really insane, and I think it's a great move there. I hope it continues. And I tell you, and there is so much more now I want to talk to you, but at the same time I want to say, what do you think about people like, seriously, these actors, actresses, or singers like Madonna that, I never heard a word about criticizing Hillary for the people who died in Libya, for the civilians who bombed in Syria, and all this stuff, but Trump is such a monster, and, you know, she wants to bomb the freaking White House. So what's wrong with this woman? I mean, she's really so stupid.
Well, I think they're going to charge her because she said it, and that was actually, I call it inciting other people, because she knows she ain't going to do it, but she's inciting other people to go do it. That's what I think about her. I didn't like her music. I don't like her. I don't like the way she believes. I think all these people believe we should be communists. And if they got that government in on us that they were trying to get Luca, Madonna and all of them found out that no matter how much money you got, at that point you become a slave also with the rest of us that don't have any money.
Yeah.
So.
I know it's sad because these people, they are not communists. These people, they're just hypocrites, okay? She lives in gold and silver, and she's tried to act like this woman coming from, you know, one of the people. It's so freaking insane what she's doing. But the sad thing is they really have no logic in all this. I mean, it is all about, I don't know exactly what. I mean, or they are completely stupid, or they have an agenda that I can't see the angle. Because if you're a little bit of brain, how can you go out and completely try to destroy a man that so far, he didn't do anything? Trump, he didn't commit any war crime. Trump, he didn't give any billions to other countries. Trump, he didn't create all these disasters that we have. And I'm not just talking about Obama, I'm talking about even Bush before, okay? So far, the guy has never been really a politician at all. So how can you just, out of the blue, start to throw rocks at him when you have not even had a chance to give him to do anything? So I'm saying this is insane. And, you know, and I wasn't a Trumpy before. I mean, I voted for Trump because there was no other option. Are you kidding me? I mean, I would rather vote for a dog before I vote for Hillary. But at the same time, I wasn't like, so say, oh my God, Trump is going to be the savior. I say, okay, let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance. And I tell you, so far in the first week, I'm impressed. I really am. And I hope they're not going to kill him, because that's what I'm really concerned now. I mean, this guy is doing serious business. I mean, what do you think? I don't think they were playing game when they gave more than $1.5 billion to Hillary to try to make it. That wasn't like a funny match. They were really wanted in. And now, the TPP. The first act he did, he stopped the TPP. What do you think about the TPP?
I think it was excellent, because even Ross Perot told us about NAFTA back when he was running. He said, you pass that law and it's going to sound like a sucking sound going down the drain.
Yeah.
And they all laughed and made fun of him. Well, what did it do? If we had a sucking sound, our job was leaving this country, just like what he said. So it just goes to show that Ross Perot was also right, too, when he was running.
Anywhere the 45th President of the United States
Excuse me, Lucas.
Donald J. Trump.
Hey, Lucas,
Listen.
you won't keep talking about this? I sent you an article. And I'd like, because I heard you interviewing a guy on your show. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to keep talking about Trump, the great man?
Uh-huh. Who is the article? Tell me what it's from.
I said, do you want to keep talking about him?
Oh, no, it's fine. I want to just, my point, it wasn't even about him. It was about the idiots out there that don't use their brain, and they're just getting this hysteria. And I say, please, let's look at the acts. And, this is not the Republican talking, because I'm not a Republican. All I'm saying, please, let's look at this guy, what he's doing right now. If I was a blue-collar guy, if I was a union guy, I would say, thank you, President Trump, to stop the TPP right there, regardless. That's my only job, because I really want to bring facts. And the reason why, because I think we have a hope to reconnect with our country, to even unify in a way that even if we disagree, we're still Americans. I think we have a job to do to stop this globalism that's destroying us. So I think let's use our brain, stop playing the party stuff. We are not Republicans, we're not Democrats. At least on the show, I couldn't care less what you are. All I care that you use your brain, you use your heart, and you're not a jerk. You'll be objective. If you were wrong, say it. When I'm wrong, I say, sorry, I was wrong. And I think I tell you, I hope completely, with Trump, of course, I wasn't even that wrong, because I was having hopes. But I tell you, so far, I'm happy. Now, the last thing I want to do, I will talk more during the second hour, will come down to the gun rights. We have an incredible potential here, with many completely removing executive orders that they were a disaster, unconstitutional, denying our basic rights of the Second Amendment. At least they're really putting a lot of burden, and that's great. And we have new bills coming up in Congress that really can create the America I always thought we supposed to have. You know, the America where our Second Amendment is well and alive everywhere, not just in Arizona or other states like Wyoming or maybe, Vermont, everywhere. Anyway, now, I'll give you the floor, Ken. I know you always want to talk about something interesting. Anything you want, you got the floor.
Okay. Last week, Luke, I heard you interviewing a guy named Gary Hunt. I don't know what you know about him, but I sent you over an article from Bill Cooper.
Yes.
Because he was calling this guy was out working the fire and tobacco and whatever it was. He called him an informant. But yet this guy's in thick and heavy with all the people down there and the Patriots in Nevada and up in Portland. I was up in Portland when somebody called him out. I heard you talking to him, and he said that the one guy came to his defense. Well, he did. The guy come in and said, I don't know what he was being called out about, but somebody was calling him out. So this other guy came up and said, leave him alone. I was sent over here to protect him. Well, who sent him over there to protect him? Then it ended up that guy was an informant, and Gary Hunt fronted him after he got exposed someplace. I don't know. But I know if we had a fight in the parking lot up there, the police would not come over. They wanted us fighting amongst ourselves.
Okay, let me ask you something. What you're saying is very serious stuff, I mean, you're talking about, first of all, William Cooper, that is dead, of course, and he was a very famous, in my opinion, not only just book author, he had a great book out there. I think it was the name of one second. I have the book. I forgot. It's the White. You remember the name of the book? I forgot it. Anyway, people has to go dig it out. I mean, it's a very interesting guy. He used to be probably one of the first info warriors that we had, starting from the 80s. The guy was a former military. He knew a lot of information before the internet, and he disclosed a lot of information about the globalists, what they used to do. But more important, I tell you, he had a lot of credibility because all the things he said, they were pretty much happening. They've been happening. And he had also a radio show. So I would like to everybody check it out, Bill Cooper. Now, before I want to say something, whenever you say something like that, so important, because I tell you, I don't know much about Mr. Gary Hunt. Besides that, I had him on the show. I think he's been writing interesting articles, at least something that seems like they're irritating at least the judges out there. We talk about that. But at the same time, I let everybody on the show, because if somebody has some information that I don't know, I welcome you. And of course, I also would like to call, Mr. Hunt back, because whatever you say, I would like to give him the chance to find out what's happening, and maybe to have a chance to answer to him, because this is very important. Before we go ahead, I want everybody because, unfortunately, many young people don't know about him. Milton William Cooper, okay, also called Bill Cooper. He wrote a book, Behold a Pale Horse, okay? And it's a very interesting book. I have it. Everything he was saying in the 80s, you can see now it's happening. It's been happening. So that's all I want to say. This guy was kind of a serious, dedicated person in exposing the globalists. Now, with this article that you're mentioning, where is it from? What is the source? Is it like on Google, on a website? Where is it from, this article?
I sent it over to you because somebody sent it to me when they called me up and was asking. They said they heard Gary Hunt was working with all the Patriots in Portland and also in Nevada. So they sent me a link over. Did you get a chance to read it?
Yes.
He called him John Doe number 4. Mm-hmm. Then he talked about Gary Hunt again in John Doe number 6.
Yeah.
If you want to read that, I don't have it handy. If you want to read it, won't you read that for me?
Yeah, I will read it at that point. I will post it on the website, Love, Guns, and Freedom. The reason why is this one, because on this show we can talk about everything. And I'm not condemning everybody because, of course, I don't have first of all, I'm not a judge. I'm just a regular host here. But what I'm trying to do is I want to give the opportunity to have everybody's opinion and facts, if you have a fact. Now, unfortunately, Bill Cooper is not alive anymore. And is something that, that article, is it really his article? That's my question. I want to be objective with everybody. And what if his article, could be just Billy Cooper opinions about it? Or how could have somehow verified his information? That's my point, Now, what he said, of course, there was strong words. I mean, for Bill Cooper say this stuff then, that's pretty big. Now, as I said, I don't want to judge Gary because I don't know anything about that, but I would like to bring him on the show. I would like probably read this article to him. And at that point, I would like to ask him, what do you think about that? That's all I can do. What do you think? That would be a good idea? Should I talk, Gary?
Yeah, that's what I do, because I don't know for sure. I can't tell you 100% sure he's an informant. I know a lot of people are accusing him, and I met him one time, and that was when he was getting called out up in Oregon. I was at the hotel, so I went outside to see what was going on. So, to be honest with you, I don't even know what he was being called out about. You know, I have no clue.
Look, I have this article. I have this article from houroftetime.com /plot PLOT.htm. Oklahoma City bombing, the plot thickens, by William Cooper. All rights reserved. We are not racist, white supremacist, Zionist, British, Israel, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, and they start to talk about the John Doe number 1, as you said, Joe Doe number 2, Joe Doe number 3, Joe Doe number 4 has been positively identified by the intelligence service as Gary Hunt. He has never been questioned by any law enforcement agency. Gary Hunt was also involved in the Waco massacre. Gary Hunt is an informant for the Bureau of ATF. Gary Hunt masquerades as an American patriot. The ethnic and religious background of Gary Hunt is not known at this time. Now, my point is, can be maybe another Gary Hunt. I mean, there are many Gary Hunt, I'm sure, around America. That's my point. I mean, how can we know for sure it's him?
Right. Well, I guess somebody that I'll get to doing some digging. I got a lot of people say they got articles, but you got to see where the articles come from and who's writing them. But I'm just saying, if the guy is, look what happened when they let Mark McConnell, when they let him in and nobody vetted him, and look what happened to LaVoy. He actually led LaVoy Finicum right into his death, and he knew it. I think he knew what he was doing. In my opinion, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that he got fronted out by one of the FBI agents himself. I guess he didn't realize that they had Mark McConnell trying to bury what he did, and this guy come out and said they paid him for what he done. So,
as I said, I always like to talk about facts, but I would say opinions are welcome. At the same time, I always like to bring the other side in. So I really think it's important what you said, because I have an open mind to everything. But at the same time, I also want to play I don't want to call the devil's advocate, but at least the fair advocates. Because, everybody has also the right to defend themselves, but also to question everything. For example, as I said, maybe it's another Gary Hunt. I mean, after all, this is an old article. William Cooper, died just before 9/11. So this is something that few years ago, we're talking about more than 17 years ago for sure, 18 years ago, okay? So who knows? I wish Mr. Cooper was still alive and we could bring him on.
Right.
And I would like to say, where did you get your information?
But, Luca, how many Gary Hunts went to Oklahoma City bombing, was seen there? How many of them seen at Waco? I know he admitted to being in Waco.
Yeah. No, it's true.
How many Gary Hunts would come there? I just think we need to do some vetting. I can't say 100% sure that he's working for the ATF. I don't know, but I mean, as long as there's a question and he's working with a bunch of patriots, I think they should be finding out who they're working with.
Yeah, and one thing I also found, the timing was interesting, and that's I will ask to Mr. Hunt, if he wants to come. I wish he can come back. Jeanette Finicum, the wife of LaVoy.
Yes.
Just a few days ago, let me see, I would like to read exactly what she said. She posted something on her page, okay? That it was kind of disturbing just after the interview that we had. That we said that, if her husband was still alive, LaVoy, would have not been friends with Gary Hunt. I'm just paraphrasing it, but it was pretty much close to this. So I find this interesting. I mean, I tried to ask her, can you please come on the show and articulate more about what you said? But she didn't answer to me. I'm trying again. There is something that, though, strange, don't you think? I mean, why she has to go all the way out and say that? I mean, that's strange. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, yeah, I wish she could come out publicly.
It is. That's very strange, because I met Jeanette 3 times now. I met her when we was at the bird sanctuary. I met her. I went down to the LaVoy's funeral in Utah. I met her there again, and I met her in Washington. They had a march up there, so I drove up there to be with them. A very sweet lady, but she lost a lot from just losing her husband. I admire her for what she's been able to get done since they took her, her love out of the world. They took the most thing she told me that she loved the most was LaVoy.
Yeah. Well, that's very sad. And all I say, I like to ask her, I wish, I'll try again. I have her phone. I didn't try to call her. I'll try to call her this week. Maybe I can get her next week on the show. I like to ask her, why are you saying these things about Mr. Hunt? I mean, if you have something that we don't know, let us know. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. And at the same time, as I said, I really would like to have, by the way, Gary Hunt on the show. And it's funny because she has, on Facebook, friends with Gary Hunt. At least on Jeanette Finicum Facebook page, she has, between her friends, Gary Hunt is one of her friends. So I don't understand. This is kind of interesting. It's almost like some sort of, spy story. But anyway, regardless, all I'm saying, on the show, we are welcome to talk about everything. If you have something that we do not know, or wish you have information that we would like to know, please let us know. And as I said, I like to talk about facts. Everything you say, every time people bring something, I would like to have at least some corroborating facts. Sometimes facts cannot be all proved, but at least it's your opinion. At that point, I always say the other side that you mentioned in general, I always like to bring them on as to defend their positions, or at least to, answer, rebut everything you say. So anyway, that's the story. Now, beside that, what do you think at this point in the situation with the fears? Because I have fear, I tell you. This President Trump, if he's doing what he's doing in just a week, what if in 4 years he can put back America really in the way that we've never seen in a long, long time? Did you hear about, for example, the bill he wants to at least support? Is a Senate bill from Senator Rand Paul to, first of all, let's say, not only audit the Federal Reserve, that we know they're a bunch of crooks, and it's not federal at all, but also eventually repeal it. I mean, that's something that went public. I couldn't believe it. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did, Luca, and I admire him for what he's saying. And even Rand Paul, he disagrees with Trump on some things, and I understand that. But that's what, if you disagree, then you talk it out, find out who's right, who's wrong, and bring other people in if you have to. But I do believe that everything he's doing is great. It's for the American people, I'll tell you that. That I do believe.
Is my only... Go ahead.
And then they try to say he didn't have that many people when they had and they wasn't protesters either. Those was terrorists out there on the streets, throwing rocks through the coffee house window and the Bank of America window, throwing bricks and burning up limousines. That ain't protesting.
No. That's exactly what I like to talk. Funny that you talk about that, because I was going to bring that up. People need to understand that we have the right to protest, and that's something that I support. Peaceful protest is protected by our also basic Bill of Rights, okay? But something where you draw the line, when you do not protest anymore, you start to become a complete thugs, a complete vandal. You infringe on other people's rights. You destroy other people's property. You endanger other people's life. You are no more a protester. You're a criminal, and you need to be dealt accordingly. That's the point. And that's, really where there is to draw the line. I'm the first to say, if you have something to say, express yourself, do whatever. You want to put yourself a chain around your neck, fine. But you don't ever go. I really believe also what they're doing here, this is beyond protest. We know that they've been caught. George Soros and other organizations, they have been paying, fomenting, organizing, and plotting these disturbances. I mean, people got paid off, really. It's like a job. You go there, you burn stuff, you scream and yell, we will drive you, we will, put you in the bus, and we'll give you good money too. So this is not just a spontaneous, even protest. It is just part of the plan to try to stop Trump in every way they can, even discredit him. But I tell you something.
Right.
One thing I tell you really is important right now, that I believe that, first of all, is not going to, remember, Trump is just a guy. He may be a crazy guy that doesn't give a damn about whatever happens to him, but he has a family. He has daughters. He has sons. He has wife. I mean, these people are evil out there. I mean, JFK, it wasn't, you see, nobody's untouchable. My point is what I'm afraid if after the shadow government is realizing that Trump is serious, he doesn't give a damn, he's doing what he's supposed to do, they don't even need to harm him directly. They can say, you know what, you care about your daughter? I mean, seriously. And every man has his weak point. So I'm really afraid for that, and I pray for him. And as I said, I may not agree on everything with him. There's some stuff, for example, on foreign policy that I don't know how he's going to act. He's going to continue the false ideology of these illegal wars like Obama and Bush. Or maybe he's going to say, wait a second, stop. Congress only Congress can declare war. Stop. Let's get out of the United Nations. By the way, did you hear about this new bill? We need to withdraw. I mean, we want to try to completely get out of the United Nations. Stop supporting this bunch of globalists with our tax dollar. And that's Trump is behind that. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. And you know, Luke, I'm going to tell you, when I was a kid, about 14 years old, now that'd been 60-something years ago.
Yeah.
I think people with signs, the farmers and ranchers and average people, when I was a kid riding through the small towns in Texas, had get us out of the UN back in the 50s.
Wow. It's been a long time, this struggle, long time. I'm so glad that it seems like we're not forgetting, even with the zombies out there, they, of course, they've been more, zombified in the last 50 years. I'm sure America, with the public re-education system, they got really worse in that part. But we still have a lot of good people out there that they're still fighting the good fight. I'm so glad. I really believe we are living history. And I tell you, we are in a point that if this man is allowed to live, and, I'm not just talking about, of course, killing him. It's still a human being. Everything can happen to any one of us. We have it, and Congress, is not going to chicken out, especially if we stay behind them, especially if we bite their asses. Because I tell you, I am probably most disgusted with Congress than Obama itself, because Congress allowed Obama to do all the destruction he did the last 8 years. So I hate when these people blame it all on Obama. Obama was just the face. All these Republican puppets that they, like the Paul Ryan, the Bonners, and all these other disgusting McCain, you scum. And I say again, you scum are the people that empowered Obama. You are the sold out traitors. Obama at least had a face. He's a freaking New World Order puppet. We knew it. But you Republicans who allowed that, you're a bunch of scum. So that's why I say our job as we the people, once now Trump has been elected, is to really stay on the asses of these bastards in Congress. Because I have respect almost for none then. Very few. Very few. That's the point.
And you know what, Luca? Trump can't do it by himself.
Exactly.
That's why he says we. He never says I. He says we. Because when they don't do the right thing, he tweets it out, the American people got to start calling them and tell them, you need to do your job. You need to do this. You need to do that. They need to keep pressure on our Congress and our senators and everybody else to make them do the right thing. Luca, they had their grip around us, and they was bringing the fist in just a little tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter. And when Trump got in there, he took that fist and peeled it back about halfway, and they're unhappy. They're very unhappy. We were getting so close to having the chains thrown on us, they thought they had it won.
Yeah.
So the American people better stand behind him and help him out when he needs help.
Yeah. No, this is really, it's important. I tell you, I really believe this is the last attempt to take back this country because people like Trump, people may like him or not, but there are not many out there. People that who has the position of his, and even his arrogance, I think is what made him to become the president. Because everybody else would have played ball, everybody else would have somehow played politically correct. This guy didn't care. He didn't care. And that's really what brought him up. And finally, the American people found, wow, maybe this guy is real. And we must give him a chance. That's all I can say. And as I said, I may have things that maybe I may not agree, okay? But so far, everything's done. I'm telling you, I just pray keep doing it. I hope that is going to really open some investigations about 9/11. Seriously. I hope he's going to at least, talk seriously about, for example, he's releasing now DARPA, all the different type of technology that we have, but unfortunately it's kept from the American people. It's kept just for military applications. No, we pay for that applications. We want it for our lives. That can really be helping humanity. So he's trying to do that. That's amazing. Now, I hope, of course, he will stop some programs. Of course, many presidents, they always believe, you know the story. Presidents, they are like, they come and go. The shadow government and the military-industrial complex was always in charge. So, you know, there are things that even Trump may not know at all, and will never know, unfortunately, unless we do a peaceful revolution and drag these bastards out of their nest also, you know. But, for example, even this fact of plans like these programs for mind controls and chemtrails, I mean, we must talk about that. One thing we know is exposing the vaccine mafia. The CDC seems like the Center of Disease Control is being raided by the FBI. This is huge. I mean, I'm trying to find more confirmation, but hopefully next week we got more details. That's amazing, right there. So all I can say...
Right, well, when he... Excuse me, Luca. I got something in my throat.
No problem.
Hey, Luca, when he said he was going to release this technology to the American people, you know why? Because I think he knows that they're using this technology on the American people right now.
Well,
You know, he said he's going to release it to the world. I was very glad to hear that because, you know, they got no right to use the technology on us, and I really don't think they got any right to use it on other countries. When you can take something, the technology, you don't even have to go. You can just bypass everything, the thought process and everything, and you use that technology against people. I think that's wrong, even if we use it on other countries. Myself,
I agree. I mean, at least when you start to mess with some people's mind, and you know, this is like a criminal genocide. Okay, I mean, to use control, manipulate people's mind against their will. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, that is almost a joke because, you know, according to the Geneva Convention, you cannot use hollow point, but you can use a full metal jacket. But then they have much worse weapons, like something that can somehow make you a zombie, and that's okay. Or they can create, let's say, tectonic earthquakes in other countries. That's insane. It's true. This stuff, it's real. It's okay. Now, the last thing I want to say, you know, about this, there is a point that all I'm saying out there, you know, I'm trying to reach people that they have still a brain and they don't act like a bunch of complete freaks on meth, okay? Seriously, you may be a Democrat, you may be a libertarian. I mean, I know some libertarians that I tell you, I'm disgusted. And normally I like the libertarians. I feel I have some libertarian things in myself too. They're so obsessed about Trump. Everything Trump does is so like a form of protest. I never heard them so much complain about Hillary during the election. I mean, sorry, seriously, more Trump than Hillary. I mean, what's wrong with you guys? I mean, this guy just cut off 75% of regulations. He wants somehow look at all these agencies like the EPA and all these other agencies that they're completely useless and they're just a bunch of bureaucrats on steroids and somehow cut them off. I mean, what's wrong with you libertarians? For a moment, stop being stuck in your ego. Seriously, stop. Because this is the last chance we have as America to at least make some sense. And I didn't say we're going to go back to the America of George Washington, our founding fathers, but it takes too long to the point we are here. But at least we have a chance to stop the sewer of globalism, the sewer of collectivism, and go back to some basic lifestyle that belongs to America, you know, and put America first. Yes, I have no problem to say I want to put America first. I don't want our tax dollar going to 135 countries around the world. I'm tired of that. There is nothing in the Constitution said that we need to pay for Israel, for Palestine, for Iran, or any other country. That screw them all. They can go and rack their credit cards with China directly, okay? And the Federal Reserve must be exposed what it is. We didn't need a Federal Reserve before 1913, and we had roads, we had the armies, we had everything. We had schools. So this income tax is a fraud, needs to be exposed, and everything else. So God bless Trump. That's my humble opinion at this point. And as I said, you know,
absolutely.
And even if there are going to be things I may not agree in the future, I don't care. So far, just with the TPP and stopping this idea of globalism and try to bring some sovereignty to our country, all I hope, one thing I pray, that is going to show that we still have a rule of law, and Hillary Clinton must be not only investigated, must be right now press charges, and at that point, like every other American who committed such alleged crimes, deserve to be put in front of a jury and a trial. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to put it at the, you know, throwing a rock at her, because everybody deserves a trial. But, you know, everybody out there, every Democrat will still defend that whore, because she's a political New World Order whore, and I'm behind that word. Seriously, you guys, you have really a serious problem. And I don't care if it was Bush. Even Bush supposed to be put behind, for war crimes. So, but that's another level. This one, she really broke every law in the book when it comes down to everything from espionage. I mean, we're talking about this lady, this monster, just lying in Congress, the perjury. And then, of course, this. I don't want to go back there. I talk about that enough. The point, we need to bring back the rule of law. And Trump, I think, has that moral obligation to do it. I don't know exactly what they told him he can do or not. If he's the president, he will have the new attorney general, and I don't even know why he still had the same, FBI director still. I don't know why he didn't fire him, but that's probably something we don't know. I'd like to find out. All right, at least go ahead.
My thing on the FBI director, Comey he knows where all the skeletons are at. He's already investigated probably for 5 to 10 years.
Uh-huh.
Could that be the reason? Could that be the reason that Trump kept him on, so that he knows to help prosecute her? Because he was blackmailed or forced, or something happened when he did what he did. And now then we need to find out who threatened him and what was said and all that. And then we need to find out where all the stuff he knows about Pizzagate, all that stuff. We need to find out all that. They never denied any of the emails, Luca.
No, I know.
They just, all the Russians stole them. The Russians stole them. But they did that to get it off of the emails. They couldn't deny the emails wasn't true because they knew they were true.
Exactly. My point, as I said before, if the Russians really expose a criminal, God bless the Russians. I mean, for God's sake. If we have somebody normally in our judicial system, let's say there is secret rewards. If you give a tip to a law enforcement, somebody's committing a crime, they're supposed to give you a tip. Okay, at least, a little medal. I mean, for God's sake, if somebody really exposed crimes, what Hillary did, and also behind this sort of a disturbing, murderous allegations, and I still say allegations because still everybody deserves a trial. But I'm talking about these crimes against these children. And this is demoniac. I mean, this stuff is devil-worshipping bastard. It's not just about worshipping what they want. I don't care what they worship. But when there are minors and there are sex slaves involved, and there are things that, honestly, I even shouldn't talk on the air because they are so disgusting. I mean, these people, Russians or not Russian, I don't care if they were the Martians, gave us this information, for God's sake. Thank God. That's what I'm saying. So, we will see. All I hope, it's still early to judge even this thing, because after all, it's not even a week. Trump has done so much more than Obama did in 8 years, for God's sake. So, give him a little time, but I would like to see the next few months, finally, when he's really inside all the chairs that he needs to fill, then maybe we have a hope to bring some justice back to this country. And Hillary and everybody beside her, with her, needs to be facing a jury of her peers and needs to go from there. That's all I can say. Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Luca.
All right, Lisa, I'll let you go. I want to give you the last minute. Whatever you want to say, this has been a great hour. I wanted to discuss a little bit of this news because this is not just news. As I said, this is history. And my goal while I'm doing this to you is not just because to refresh what already mainstream media, or at least some of the mainstream media has been doing, even alternative media telling about Trump the last few days. No. This is for me a message to the independents, more important to the Democrats who still have their head in their butt. Seriously, guys, I'm not Republican. I was never a Trumpy, but I said, let's use our logic. Let's use our brain. Let's judge this man for what he's doing and not for what they told you that you need to do. Do not follow the orders from your masters. Use your own brain. That's what I'm saying. Okay? Because this guy's been doing more for the blue-collar guy than any other president I have seen so far. That's my humble opinion. I give you the floor, 1 minute or two. Go ahead.
You know what, Luca? I don't have much to say. We covered it all, but you're so spot on on Trump that no matter, even if he does some things, he makes a mistake here and there, we can live with that. Because hopefully, if he does make a mistake, he'll come back and fix that mistake instead of making the mistakes on purpose.
Exactly.
Anything he does is not going to be done on purpose to further the agenda of the New World Order. That I will tell you.
Yeah. Oh, they hate him. The New World Order hates Trump. And that, for me, it's enough to say, you know what? I am behind this guy. Because President Trump may be things that maybe I don't consider constitutional in many aspects, but at the same time is the last hope we have to stop this globalism. That's a fact. If somebody wants to bring back the sovereignty of a nation, right there, it's something we need to really value and understand. And this is not just for the right-wingers or people who believe in the Constitution. This is also for people that are supposed to be, let's say, the typical Democrat out there. You realize that you lost your lifestyle, you lost your wealth, you lost your job because of globalism. That's the most important thing we must remember. We're all going to be damaged. Left, right, doesn't matter. That's why I said, let's give him a chance. Let's think with our brain. Let's not play politics anymore for a moment.
And you know what, Luca? He said the Americans have got to get back to helping each other and talking to each other and stuff, working with each other. I like that about it because that's back to the Republic again.
Exactly. Listen, I want to say thank you, Ken. Meanwhile, I want to say thank to everybody out there. I appreciate your support. I know when I wasn't on the show the other day, I have a lot of emails and text messages that wish me well. Thank you. I'm back here. I want to say also we have Zanna coffee back in stock. Straight shot espresso is great, fresh roasted, organic coffee. Really to start a revolution, a peaceful revolution. You can go to www.zannacoffee.com, and I tell you, in this way, not only you enjoy great organic coffee, but also you help this broadcast. But as you say, as you can hear in this show, I don't have any masters. I don't carry any flag but the American flag. That's the bottom line. So I don't, if people get offended or the Republicans, they don't like what I say, or Democrats don't like what I say, I don't care. You are welcome to be on the show, and we can say whatever we want because we have still freedom of speech. That's the bottom line. So zannacoffee.com, I appreciate it. Now, Ken, thank you very much, and let's be in touch, please, with more news. And more important, I'll let you know when I can get a hold of Gary Hunt, and I'll let them know about his interview, and maybe next Sunday I would like to see his feedback, what he thinks about this article about Bill Cooper. Maybe he has some information we don't know. All right?
Right. Okay, Luca, thank you. Have a great time.
Thank you. And that was, as I said, my friend Ken from Michigan. That's the beautiful thing about the show. If you want to be on the show, this is your show too. You don't need to be the famous guest. I had great guests, and I like to bring your guests. As I said, I had some guests that at the time I almost humbled, say, oh my gosh, for example, former NSA whistleblower William Binney, been on every news. And then it comes to my humble radio show. And many other people like him. At the same time, I like to go back to basic. Even just me with you, the listener, on the air. That's the bottom line. That's the core of the show. It's our microphone, not just mine. Now, also another thing I want to tell you. If you want to be on the show and you want to bring your version of things that you may know, and you come from even another part of the world, I don't care. I welcome you. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com, and I invite you, and I will give you my microphone with you, and you can lead the show. This is about also, bringing information that normally we cannot find on mainstream media. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Do not go away. We are ready for our number 2. It's going to be great news about guns, gun rights, and training. Ciao.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network. Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short, and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. Second hour, all about guns. More than guns, also about training, mindset, and much more. Now, just to let you know, this show, of course, is recorded, as you know. You're listening to this probably on K-Talks 1340 AM on Sunday. That's fine. That's great. And also around the world, probably on the internet. But just to let you know, I am right now recording this exactly Saturday evening, the day before the show. I went to a gun show in Kingman that I really enjoy, by the way. I like to go to these gun shows. Not just because I like to, trade, sell, exchange. I like to meet people. I like to meet people that normally, we're always somehow behind the computer on Facebook. We know each other somehow on Facebook, and that's great. It's a great way to communicate too. But when you see them in person, finally, you start to see, everybody has their personality, their dreams, their goals, or whatever. It's great. I like it. Even when you find it, the pain in the ass. Don't get me wrong. I got sometimes people that, especially other vendors, a little jealous. That's fine. I don't care. I am happy. I had a great show so far. Sunday was great. We did well. And looking forward for tomorrow. Anyway, regardless. Today's show, I want to talk a little bit about the Arizona Concealed Carry Permit. That classes that I am been sharing with you. Some of you at least. And I really enjoy, by the way. I said, this is for me not just I need another gig, okay? I have so many things I do. But I always try to do things that I enjoy. Things that I like. And why I have really chosen. It's like, you don't go by accident. You have to do your qualification, your studies, also, your different, I got my NRA pistol instructor classes, and of course I graduated, and I got my different other instructor classes. I always try to thrive to get the best I can. And I always try to give the best more than people expect. That's my philosophy in general in life. Okay? At least I try. And I tell you why I wanted to do this, new venture, this new, let's say, project, going out, meeting people and trying to help them out to get the Arizona Concealed Carry Permit. Because first of all, it is more than just a permit. It is about becoming a better gun owner. It's becoming about safer gun owner. It's about also try to create, rather than liabilities, create assets in our community. Because I deeply believe when we have good men and women, armed, law-abiding people, who are armed, they can be somehow transforming our society in a safer society, in a more civil society, and a better society, a more polite society. I really believe that. If the person is a law-abiding person with a good attitude, a knowledge of the law, and of course also, not just of the law, but also how to use that gun, when to use it, when not to use it. So that's my mission. Going out there and spreading the gospel. Some people go to the hospital to volunteer. Some people go to churches. That's what I do. Of course, I get paid, but I always give more and better than I believe anybody else out there. At least I try my best. Now, I don't like to talk about myself, how great I am, because I'm not that great. I'm just a regular guy, but I try always my best. I like to share, though, what we had just a Sunday ago, what really happened, how this class went in Havasu. We had a beautiful class in Havasu Guns. It was my first class of a concealed carry permit for Arizona permit in Havasu. And at the Havasu Guns facility, I had a great time, I tell you. We probably spent more than 5 hours. As I said, this curriculum, normally the new curriculum from DPS, you can go through in 90 minutes, 60 minutes. Seriously, it's ridiculous. And I wanted to go deeper. My curriculum I think it's one of the best curriculum out there because I really believe I want to give more. And more important, I want to let people know what they may not know. That's the philosophy. This is not a finish point. It's just the beginning of your journey. Now, let me shut up. Let me bring with me on the air a gentleman that I already had on my show in the past. And I really appreciate him because also been supported the show. He bought a Freedom rifle, he listened to the show. And I appreciate also his input and feedback about different topics, like also when it comes down to gold mining and prospecting. Today I wanted to talk with him about his experience about the Arizona CCW class they attended with me. So his name is Scotty. Scotty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Luca.
Okay, man. I hope I didn't make you fall asleep with all my introduction because sometimes I get kind of heavy on this stuff. But I wanted to give an idea what's going on, why I'm doing this. And more important, I wanted to get an idea, what do you think about the class? More important, I want to know your feedback, what I think about what you, one of the attendees, what you feel about it. What do you think about the experience with the class in general? Be honest.
You know what, Luca, I'll share something with you. I used to teach computer software, which is very, very hard to teach. Mm-hmm. And I've taught over 1,200 students and customers.
Wow.
And I think you were exceptionally well, very good. I didn't fall asleep in the class. You go to some seminars and stuff.
Yeah.
5 hours, you kept my attention. And I got to say, Luca, I've been around guns since I was 7.
Wow.
And there's so many things I learned from your class in 5 hours that I had no clue. Just too busy. I didn't know. I learned a lot from your class.
Maybe it must be my accent keep you awake. I say, what did you just say? I missed that word. Let me take notes here. I can't fall asleep. I missed everything if I miss a word.
No, not at all. I mean, the passion, but the main point I noticed about your class, Luca, is you 100% you made sure safety first. All the people in the class, you made sure that they understood safety, and right out of the gate, Nobody's, you go to the range or the store, anywhere, no one's allowed to point a weapon at you. Loaded, unloaded,
Exactly.
You made that point 100% clear.
Yeah, and this is exactly because the point, we are, first of all, we are responsible for ourselves and towards others, but indirectly, when you become a gun owner, not only, first of all, yes, I believe in individual responsibility, I don't want to be responsible for your action or somebody else's action, but at the same time, they try always to point down to us that we are bad people, or at least some part of the media, that we are irresponsible, that we somehow, we are able to, to create mass destruction just with our presence. No, I really believe that a good gun owner, a law-abiding gun owner, they also, of course, is educated in the defense in self-defense, but also very importantly, as you said, in the safety. It is an asset, and we need to act above the average, and everybody's pointing a finger at us already too. And guess what? We're going to show that we're going to be better than the average person out there. And as on top, more important, I always said, we are responsible morally, legally, in every way for every bullet coming out of the barrel. No excuses. I don't believe in negligence. I believe at that point, in accident, I'm sorry. I don't believe in accidental discharges. I believe in negligence because as we were talking, to create a discharge, you must break more than one basic fundamental safety rule, okay? It is not just one. So at that point, person, unfortunately, that created that type of accidental / negligent discharge, I'm sorry. You're supposed to have known the basics and practice the basics. That's the way we start from everything. But you're right, safety first in everything. What do you think about, in general, the idea also that I'm trying to almost overwhelm my students with things that normally they are not requested by the, let's say, the DPS, by their curriculum, but just to give them the idea what they should at least start to learn on their own. Is this something that was okay or maybe was overwhelming? I'm always wondering if I was okay doing that.
No, you know what, Luca, I want to say that when you teach someone, you have an obligation and a duty to, it's like doing a job. You're going to do some work. Yeah, sure, you could skate by and I just do this and paint over it. It'll look good. But you have a duty and an obligation to make sure that they understand everything about it. It's like doing the work. You're going to do 100%. You're going to do a good job, make sure everybody's comfortable, they understand it, they can rely on it. And it's especially with a firearm. I mean, someone's life's going to depend on it, whether it's yours, your loved one, your neighbor. So there's, I totally appreciate and respect what you did in the class. You covered above and beyond.
Yeah, for example, marksmanship. You know very well that in 5 hours, would be impossible to teach a person, in general, about marksmanship, especially when the main obligation of the class towards the DPS and what we have to do is go back first of all the safety and then trying to give you an idea what are at least the laws in the state of Arizona, federal laws, when or cannot exercise the right to self-defend yourself with deadly force. Then the other thing that I want to bring, like for example, as I said, even covering the basic of how to handle in a gun, even just in, let's say, wars, because we'd have a chance to go to the range. By the way, you know that after I invite everybody to the range in a separate episode, at least in a separate day, because I want to, at least for my students, to have an idea, first of all, really what it means to shoot just at a paper target at 3-5 yards that doesn't shoot back to you, doesn't move, doesn't run, doesn't speed on you. I mean, it's just a paper target with all your calm, at least to know the basic that you can hit that paper target, and then start to visualize scenario that not because you just can hit that paper target, untimed from probably a ready position means that you're ready for a real life concealed carry situation in the society. That's a completely different scenario. So, but at least I want to give them a chance to know what they can learn, what they should learn. And some of them, maybe they already know this stuff, and that's great. They want to just come there together, paperwork for the CCW, and that's fine. But I always try to say, maybe I don't want that average person out there who's just trying to learn, or maybe he had a gun for many, many years, but never really had a chance to study, to practice in a real way, in a practical way, not just, as I said, shooting at a paper target a Sunday afternoon, the best day, or, ideal condition, just we're really with different situations. So I like to give this extra. And, so we touch, for example, the marksmanship. We touch, of course, even the stances. There's something, of course, then you need to start to realize, practice and figure it out. And then, of course, we go to the things that I really think they are very important. The most important thing is the mindset. How to avoid that fight. At the end of the day, what is the best fight? The one that we can avoid, for sure. And the color of awareness. Any questions for example, sometimes I know when I go to classes, there's always something that maybe I didn't have clear in my mind. I wish I had my, the guy who was teaching to me that maybe, can I get you another shot? Give me another question because maybe I didn't understand that, or maybe I would like more clarification. I give you, it would be good. Whatever questions you have, maybe it could be also helpful for other people that attended the class. Any questions you have for me regarding?
Probably the biggest one for me, Luca, is, I'm thinking, oh, great, okay, I passed the class, I took the class, I learned a lot, I sent my application off, now I'm running to the mailbox every day waiting for the permit, right?
Yeah.
Okay? But at the same time, now I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I have this permit, now I have this big responsibility.
Yeah.
I have this duty and responsibility to be trained for situations. Like you're talking people, you hear on the news and road rage and this kind of stuff and how to avoid. The main thing is to avoid the situation, sit back, make sure you're safe, make sure your family's safe, your loved ones don't fall into the thing. I mean, training is the ticket. And I understand you have some other classes coming up, and I definitely will take those classes because, I thought I knew a lot, and I'm sitting in the class and you're covering things and like, oh, I didn't know that, and oh, I didn't know that.
Let me talk about the class. This is important. This is exactly what I've tried to do. I was pretty blessed. I came here and I had a chance to be able to afford, let's say, studying, first of all, at places like Frontside, Nevada, that I know, especially years ago, they were very, let's say, more expensive than now. Now, if you have a connection, you can get in for really a good, affordable price. But at the time, it was thousands of dollars. And whenever I had a chance to go into that type of, let's say, education, I was really serious to tap in and to try to learn as much as I could. At the same time, I realized that not everybody can leave 4 days of their week and go to Paramp, especially if you live a little far away, can afford even the airplanes or even just the travel time and even just the days out of work. So besides, even we go into the, let's say, the class, the membership itself. I mean, Frontside, Nevada, if you pay a la carte, let's say just the 4-day class, they want $2,000 for 4 days, okay? It's an incredible training, but damn it, $2,000, I don't think everybody can afford it. Even the membership, if you don't know anybody, it costs you thousands of dollars, the lifetime membership, really the most affordable. So my point was, I said, wow, I would love to create something for the average guy, like me. I'm an average guy, I don't do this for a living. That means I don't work for like police or army or anything. I'm just a guy who wants to be responsible, wants to be a better gun owner. I would like to give close to home a good training that is really practical. We go straight from, first of all, the first class I always say I would like to invite people to do. Even if you do not you don't need the CCW, attend that class. We go in that 5 hours, we go safety, we go the law, we go, of course, be responsible gun owners, and more important, also understand all the different things about mindset. It is almost a class on its own. It's almost like a propedeutical class. Then, if you're into guns, for example, let's say you carry a gun, of course, you got a CCW class for the gun. I said, I want to create a class. It's going to be in 2 days. We're talking about 2 business days, but it's going to be cut like 5 hours and 5 hours each day, because I know that after 5 hours, you're going to start to get tired, okay? And maybe you still have maybe dogs to feed and kids to get from school. So it's kind of almost, I'm trying to create this for the average guy that still has some responsibility at home and maybe alone and have to take care of house, okay? So close to home in Mojave County, 5 hours the first day, 5 hours the second day. For example, the first class is called Handgun Self-Defense 101. It's going to be just focusing on marksmanship, the basic from the stances, and more important, all immediately apply to a realistic self-defense scenario. I mean, I'm not here to try to share how to shoot at paper targets for the Olympic Games. No, I want to be able to say, okay, I want to give you the foundations to say, now, I want to have the elements that after I finish this class, I can go back to the range by myself, bring a piece of paper, a timer eventually, and start to do drills and training that I can build up on my own, but at least I know the foundation. I know what to learn, what to practice. And the idea is that you carry the gun for self-defense. It is going to be with you, and you need to start to understand that the gun you will carry concealed, and you need to be able to be delivering it into a fight from concealed, and you need to start to know your limits, and you need to start to go to realistic distances from the 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, and 15 yards. And you don't have all the time of your life, because sometimes the Moai probably shooting at you, or is charging you with a knife, or things like that. So we will go to these basic, very important skills. Keep them simple but practical, that at the end of the day say, wow, now in 10 hours I say, you know what, I have enough information that I can start to do it even on my own, and with an affordable price. For example, tell me, I want your opinion, because I'm trying really to make it affordable for everybody. I want to get out the first class, Handgun Self-Defense 101, for the weekends. It's going to be 2 days. First day, as I said, 5 hours. Then people can go back home, relax. And we see the second day in the morning, another 5 hours. It's going to be complete 10 hours, $149, all included. What do you think? Is you think is
Luca, I'll tell you something. I guarantee, well, I hate to say this, but in our society, in our world, the way things are going,
yeah,
things happen very quick. When you have someone stick you're going to gas up, right?
Yeah.
And you said something in your class that, stop. You made all the students stop. You say, think about this. Imagine it, picture it, your war face. Things happen really quick, and if you fall into that drama and trauma, you'll freeze up. You won't think.
Yeah.
And I've had a gun stuck in my forehead. I couldn't get my gun out of my holster quick enough. Wow. That's when you fall into the trauma.
Wow.
But what you're talking about is field training. You have to train, prep, be ready. It's like taking karate class. You don't think. You just work through the motions. Boom, boom, boom. You disarm the other person. You knock them down. That's it. You have to be trained.
Train everything, hopefully, you will react to the training, because as I said, there is always the law of the 50%. In ideal day, at the range, even when you train at your best, that's in ideal situation when nobody's really pointing a gun at you, and, you are not under stress, probably is a perfect lighting, probably your relief, you have water, you have food, you feel relaxed. But you need always to think in the real life, probably you're going to be tired, you're going to be late at night, or at least in a condition with low light. And more important, you're going to really have so much adrenaline in your body that it's difficult to recreate in the range, in a general situation. So that's why 50% means that at the range, whatever you do, it's your best. Outside the range, in real life, you probably will perform 50% less. And that's why it's very important to be honest with ourselves and be harsh almost with ourselves. When we train at the range, we want to be the best we can, because we say, okay, if I can do this at the range, means I don't want to get too cocky. Say, okay, look, I got a great group, I got a decent time. You know what? In real life, I'm going to get worse. I'm not going to get better. So that's why we got to always try to do our best. And tell me something. You had an interesting situation during the class. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were talking about something that I think it was you. You were in Texas, and something was weird. Tell me about it, because I think you were really able to, just with your instinct, to diffuse it, because you were able to pretty much show him that you were aware. And that's one of the first things I said, to this type of criminals, that they're like the coward criminals, the occasional predators, that they look for prey, that they are somehow completely unaware. That's the first thing we can to defend ourselves, to be aware and let them know. Tell me the story, please.
I'll tell you, Luca, I was blessed. I met a Israeli army special army from Israeli. I took one of his classes. I was in the gold business, so they said, "Oh, you got to take this training, and you need to do this." And so I went to the class. I didn't really want to, it's a Saturday. I want to go to the beach or whatever, So I went to this class, and he taught me when you pull into an environment, I don't care where it is, the supermarket, whatever, big store, gas station, you scan, you look around, and you're looking for somebody they're just there. They're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. They're just, they're standing there. So I was in El Paso. I was coming back from Florida. I stopped for fuel, and it's a vulnerable time. You're in a gas station. You're sitting there. You got the thing in the pump, and this guy started walking towards me, and I spotted him when I pulled in because I was scanning. And I go, I don't know, this guy's up to something, homeless guy, right?
Yeah.
And, I got nothing against, we've all had our tough times, but he just comes up, he gets within about 10 feet. I do like you said in the class, I raise my hand, I tell him stop, I keep my hand up, I raise my voice, and I go, I'm not interested. And he started on with, well, I'm not interested. I don't want whatever's going on with you, I can't help you. But it was just the situational awareness. You need to scan around, look around. Yeah, and these guys, they're not smiling. They're just hanging out on the corner. They might even be working teams. Maybe two guys, one in front, one in back. You don't know.
Yeah.
So you're vulnerable. You're sitting there. Your car's off. I don't know. But I defused the situation. I told this guy to just stand off, don't come any closer, and that was it. It was just spooky. I'm just a customer. I'm trying to do my business and get on the highway.
You were lucky because you were able, first of all, to respond immediately with your instinct. You didn't just fall for, okay, let me get close to you. And more important, the fact that you were scanning around, as you said, that could be exactly the first thing because they try to distract you on one hand and then they attack you from the back. You may find yourself maybe knocked down with a bottle on your head in the best case scenario, or maybe a knife on your throat, or only God knows what. And as you say, they are not smart, but they're like the mentality of the coyotes, a pack. And they feel strong
that's it.
So I'm glad you can talk about that. Many people may not have the chance to survive even that, seriously.
No, but that's the thing. When you pull in somewhere, if you see somebody that they're standing around, it could be a poor guy who just lost his house, he's down on his luck, or it could be a psycho guy that's, out on the street on the run. You don't know. Exactly.
And as I said, we are not here, to judge others. I always feel compassion too, but there is a point that the first thing I need to do when I'm out there, I'm not going to be able to solve anybody's problem. I know that. All I know that out there, I need to be sure that I come back home. Okay? That's number one thing. And I know when you have a person, that comes really at the point, it is not anymore about the gun. Even just a box cutter, okay, a knife, a short knife, a hand pocket knife, at 21 feet or even more than 25 feet, somebody can somehow jump on you so fast, you will not be able to react fast enough, and you may find yourself really in a complete pool of blood, seriously, and that's not worth it. So I say, the best thing is keep the distances. You don't need to be harsh, like calling them names, but at the same time you're stern. You let them know that you're in control. And if somebody at that point, after you give them, let's say, this verbal command, help with the hands, they're still coming towards you, we have a problem here. Because at that point, the good person will say, okay, sorry, man, I understand, whatever, move on. Somebody's still coming close to you, or is a complete jerk, and I don't like jerks, or somebody has a plan. So both ways is something you must somehow figure it out. Well, the one thing I know. Go ahead, finish.
The one thing I noticed, Luke, I'll just interject real quick, is when you put your hand up and somebody's approaching a stranger, and they might be panhandling, you don't know what they're up to, you don't know what their agenda is. Yeah. You raise your hand, you raise your voice. Now you have the attention of everybody in the gas station on your side.
Yes.
They're going, well, wait a minute. What's going on over here? What's going on over there? Who's this guy? Who's that guy? Why is he harassing this person?
Exactly.
Now you have everybody looking out for you as well.
They're called witnesses. And also very important, as I said, I was trying to almost make it in a way exaggerated. The fact of the hands. The hands probably one of the most powerful language, An open hand is a sign of, first of all, you're not looking for trouble, especially when you point at somebody that is coming close to you, say, stay away. And at that point, cameras, recording cameras, security cameras, witnesses, they see that, hey, you are the person that you were trying to defuse. you were trying to somehow stay away from that potential aggressor. And that's very important, because at that point, you need to look at, you want to make as clear as possible who is the good guy, who is the bad guy, in case something happens. So that's, I think, is very important to focus on that. And by the way, that will be also another exercise that we will do at the class live, because we don't just go there and shoot from ready the target. The idea is going to be to, first of all, do everything with our ammunition, dry, to be sure that everybody's safe. And when you operate with our ammunition in a dry practice manner, you will see what you do wrong. You can see every step of your presentation, of your marksmanship, everything, little details, you will see what you do wrong. And that's very important. And then at that point, you can do the same exercises that we will do live fire at the range. You can practice at home, because 90% of your training you can do it at home with some snap caps, ammunition, with, of course, an area like a room dedicated to that, and a target, and eventually even a timer if you can. And you can do the same training. And that's going to be so beautiful, because you don't go anymore to the range and you have to every time to worry, oh my God, I spent today $100 in ammunition. No. When we go to the range, for example, for myself to train, I shoot probably no more than 50 rounds. But every round I shoot, I do at least 5 or 6 dry practice. In the best day when I have time, I do this ratio. 1 round shot, 10 dry practice. That means at the end of the day, I do, like, for example, let's say if I shoot 10 rounds, it's like I shot probably 100 rounds, okay? So that's the idea. So that's another thing. But, I'm looking forward, by the way, yes, I would like to see you now. First of all, you have with other attendees of the class this sort of, let's say, part of the package to have a day they will decide. I'm going to decide probably next week. I want to get a date. Now the sun is coming back, and we will spend at least a couple hours at the range just to finish the class for CCW, just to take a look, all the things that I would like to, first of all, you show me your gun, your holster. I want to see what you have, maybe something we can improve, and then we can start to see, okay, without even trying to get into any details, I want to see people how they shoot right now with the knowledge that they have. We will start dry practice. We will start with, of course, it's always safe, and then with some live ammunition. And then I can give you my couple of extra inputs, and I'll show you a couple of basic things that I think they are realistically into a life situation, especially for a law-abiding concealed carry permit gun owner. That would be the idea. Very good. Listen, I'm excited. And by the way, I want to thank you because, as you said, you are the perfect example of what I think we should be. Myself, I feel like you. I have many guns. I live in Arizona. I said years ago, I have guns. I can go shoot. But we need to always humble ourselves to say for sure, we don't know everything. And even now, especially in the state where we have no more the necessity to have a CCW permit to carry concealed, many people think, okay, I don't need a permit. I'm ready to go. And then when we fail, then when we lack the knowledge, and then when we become dangerous to us and to society. So I think it's very important and grateful that yourself, like you've been around guns since you were a kid, but still you took the time, took the effort, come to the class, try to learn, and try to say, wow, there is much more we can learn. So I think that's the great attitude. As I said, I can teach you the foundation, I can teach you everything, but I cannot teach you attitude. That's for sure.
Luca, it's like insurance. It's like life insurance. I hate to say it, but sooner or later, you will be exposed to an incident. You will be involved in an incident.
Yeah.
I don't care if you go to Vegas. I don't care where you go. Florida, I was just there. I was just Vegas.
Yeah.
There's going to be an incident. You're going to be involved in some situation, or you might be able to identify a situation and walk away.
Exactly.
But the important thing you owe to yourself is to be able to spot it, and you already know the training is the key thing. Like any athlete, any sport, anything, you need to learn the basics. Train.
Yeah. And also, as I said, I try to also have fun meanwhile. It's a beautiful thing because I think it's a responsibility. Also is a real thing, Sometimes people think, oh, it's not going to happen to me. After all, I live in a good neighborhood. I'm fine. Guess what? Evil happens. Evil happens.
Luca
exists.
2 months ago, I moved from California,
Yes.
High crime, this and that. 2 months ago, the neighbor 100 feet away.
Yeah.
Home invasion.
Wow.
Guy's high on meth or dope or something, breaks into the house.
Wow.
The husband's at work. She's there by herself. They drug the dog. They doped the dog 3 hours before.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about safe room. I'm setting up a safe room in my house.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need to, sometimes people say, safe room. I'm not a famous actor. I don't have the money. You don't need to have money. You don't need to have any special resources. All you need to have some awareness and some will and some little knowledge. There are people, of course, they got the resources. They can make a safe room like, I don't know, some movie of 007. I'm talking about just to create a room. Seriously, you can spend $1 million for a safe room. Okay, I'm sure. I don't know, some actors like, the guy that does, what is the name? I forgot. I used to watch his movies, his spy movies.
I know who you're talking about, but just going to a hardware store, $79 for an iron door with a release latch, a motion sensor in the yard, anything.
But also, it's, even the room itself. We live in the households, and the average American home has the interior doors. They're pretty much made of cardboard. Okay, you can spit and you can go through with a hard hand. Start to change, for example, the door of your bedroom for a door made of steel. It doesn't cost much. You can get one for $100, okay? Start to, for example, put a deadbolt inside the door. Start to reinforce a little bit the area of the hinges. There are different things that for $70 you can get some sort of a support frame that you don't need to replace the whole frame, but it really makes it almost indestructible, at least attached to the wall. It's a reinforcement of steel that you can attach to the area where there is the bolt. I mean, it makes the door very, very good. At night when you sleep, I don't care how fast you are, how strong you are. If you're sleeping, somebody's coming to your home and you don't hear it, you're going to wake up, if you're lucky, with a gun pointed at your face, if you're lucky, if you wake up at all. So it's imperative to have a place at night that you can at least rest without stress, number one. Number two, if you had to run and hide, at least in its defensive position, as I said, let the bastard come to you unless there is really an emergency, like, for example, you have a child or some element of the family that is on the other side of the house. Let them come to you. Don't go in their potential ambush. That's the story. But, that's the situation. I'm excited to see you again, first of all, for the class. Oh, my gosh, I got people right now. I got some people from the class. This is great timing. They're great.
They're calling you?
Yeah, well, that's great. And that's also what I like. I'm telling you, one thing I like about this, for me, first of all, it's a pleasure. I don't do this because, oh my God, I'm counting the hours. Oh, we are 30 minutes over time. I gotta go. No, I love it. I really enjoy it. I mean, I used to do this for free. When I go to places, I meet people. It's like my form of voluntarism. Okay. Now, of course, I got so many things I need to take care of myself too. So I can't do this professionally unless I do the way I do it. At the same time, I have such a pleasure to meet people like you that we can, we like the same things. I don't say we need to agree on the same things, but we always somehow we have some core belief that we share. And I consider you guys like brothers and sisters. We are really facing the same hopes, the same dreams, the same also fears. And I think it's beautiful that we can help each other because for me, at the end of the day, it's almost selfish. I tell you, when I know that I have in the month reached, let's say 50, 60, 100 more gun owners, that they are on the journey to become better gun owners, safer gun owners. Also, I am talking about with skills, say, wow, they are not just some shooting a paper target. They are able eventually to save a life. Like, for example, that guy that in southern Arizona just a couple of weeks ago saved the life of a state trooper. I mean, that was a very hard thing to do, to shoot at somebody in real life that you need to really use that deadly force. I mean, it seems simple. It is not simple. And, that policeman, that state trooper, he thanked this guy. His family is grateful. I mean, that guy changed probably many destinies in the life of of their family. If you think about now that law-abiding gun owner, he wasn't able to be there or wasn't able to perform the way he did, the state trooper would be dead. Probably his sons would have been without father. Probably his wife would have been, I don't know, on welfare. I mean, think of how much life would be destroyed on top of a human life, So I think it's such a beautiful thing to give this opportunity to people to start to reach their potential. And for me, it's an honor, even especially that you gave me the type of privilege to entrust. Because this is from also trust. You can go and find many places. And the fact you chose me, I appreciate it. I'm grateful.
No. I hear your passion and the respect and the honor that you put the effort you put into the class, and I appreciate that, Luca.
Very good. Listen, thank you. Let me remind to everybody now, just in case, guys. By the way, we have more classes coming for the CCW, Arizona CCW. You can go to azccw.us, azccw.us, or arizonaconcealedcarrypermit.com. And there is a section called Arizona CCW. We have classes coming in Kingman, in Havasu, even in Golden Valley at the range, Mojave Sportsman Club. And as I said, also another thing I want to remind, if you are a single mother, and I mean when single mother means, not just that you have, let's say, divorce and maybe your husband give you $10,000 in alimony. I'm talking a single mother with needs, okay? Single mom that maybe she's on a budget, maybe she's on welfare. And I'm not going to ask you many questions, but if I see you showing up with a, latest model of Mustang, brand new, you're not qualifying for that. I'm talking about a single mom who needs some help. I always keep the privacy. Nobody's going to know what is your situation, but you will be able to attend the class completely free. Zero. No money. I'm going to give you the class for free. Same story if you are on disability, but I'm talking about a real disability, okay? Not just you have a back pain. Talking about you have probably, you don't have a leg, or you're on the wheelchair. I help you out. And especially if you say, look, I'm on tough money right now, we give you the class for free. And this is not the government that when they say free means that somebody else is going to be robbed. No, this is an act of love. And of course, that's why I invite people to come to the classes. And of course, we can create a little surplus. People paying this very affordable fee. By the way, it's $85 for the class, includes everything. And by the way, I wait for your email, Scotty. I also give you this updated PDF file with all the curriculum and all the different points that we talked during the class. And then every time I have an update, for example, now the next update is going to be, first of all, get the first curriculum that is 70 pages, okay? But I'm doing the same curriculum, not just with the line points, 70 pages. I'm going to do probably about 150 pages now I'm working on to create like an ebook that you really like. Every time you want to go back to the class, it's like me talking, step by step. I will articulate every step. So every time you want a refreshment, you got this book and it's access for life. Every time I have an improvement or any new upgrade, I'm creating right now a page on azccw.us with a login. You as an attendee, you have access to this login, and you will be able to download every time there is an update. So this is pretty much what I'm trying to work right now, just on this class. And then, of course, as I said,
excellent.
I would like to have the next project now I'm working on. The curriculum is ready to go. It is going to be the pretty much the situation for the self-defense 101 with the handgun. And we have also self-defense 101 with the rifle. But it's going to be two different classes. Now, one thing I want to remind to the people, because we talked during the class about liability. We talk about also, unfortunately, the danger to be arrested in a self-defense situation, even if we are innocent. We still can be arrested. We still can be sued. We still may need a lot of money to defend ourselves, even just to get out of jail. And there are different solutions we talked during the class. But I want to remind everybody out there, one thing that I found, and I'm very grateful that I found, and I was very grateful to join, and it's called the USCCA. Okay, USCCA is an organization that not only tries to educate people, gun owners, to become better gun owners, but also is like an insurance program that really for pennies on the dollar, you have access to an incredible packages of lawyers with no deductibles. I mean, they are just, you got starting from $250,000 in legal expenses paid. Okay? You're talking about bonds, bail bonds paid. I mean, lawyers with normally just the retainer would cost you thousands of dollars, all included for talking about 15 cents or so a day. Okay? So I say people want to check it out because I joined. I think it's an incredible thing. I never heard about that till probably a few months ago when I started really to have a chance to learn about them. Please, people, you can go to www.uscca-class-offer, CLASS-offer, OFFER.com. You enter the code 7643 7643, and there is a free video, explains to you everything, how it works, what you get, what you pay, and it's really, in my opinion, one of the best things. And I tell you, 15 cents a day? Yes, I think I can afford it. Okay, 20 cents a day, I can afford it. And, it's cheaper than, a glass of water. But I know that in case, since I carry a gun for living, at least, it's my, every day out there, I carry it. I made that decision. I think it's good to have, some sort of defense that is affordable. For example, a policeman, a law enforcement, as the taxpayer, as lawyers, the city or the county, they always represented. It's shielded. We are not shielded. Our homes are in danger. Our paychecks are in danger, And it's not just the criminal aspect, also the civil aspect. Think about it, They can really come after you if they can. So that's the situation. Did you have a chance to watch the video yet, Scotty?
No, Luca, I'm going to take some time. Sunday's my catch-up day, so tomorrow I'll send you an email after tonight, and then I'll take a look at the video, and then I'm going to look at your other course coming up. Yeah, and definitely sign up for that.
Yeah, this the class, the other classes. I didn't put out officially the curriculum yet, but I'm going to put the first date. Probably going to be in March. We're going to start with that one. But meanwhile, I invite you to watch the video and also send me the email. So we'll send you the PDF, and then I'm going to give all my students of the first few classes we had an accurate date for the first Handgun Self-Defense 101 that we will do here, of course, the first week or so of March.
Excellent.
Perfect. Thank you, Scotty. Listen, I appreciate everything you're doing, also your support, okay?
Thank you, Luca. Bless you. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, listen, guys. This is pretty much the simple idea of the show, okay? We're here. We talk like regular people because we are regular people. And the idea is to share knowledge, to share love, to share all the tools we need to become better people in general. I'm not perfect. I'm probably very far from perfect, but I tell you, I always try to thrive to learn from my mistakes. And when it comes down to Second Amendment, it is a right, but also is a big responsibility. It is a duty to be better. We cannot just say, okay, I got that right, I'm ready to go. No, I think it's something that really we need to learn. And I don't care if you get it from me, from wherever you go, but become a better gun owner. Seriously, it's a beautiful thing. I think it's an incredible right we have. I was looking, more I look around, more I meet people from around the world. It reminds me really what type of blessing we have to be in this country, especially in the state of Arizona, that you can wake up in the morning, wear your pants, and forget that you have your holster. You can get out of the house like I do, say, you know what, that's my right. I carry my gun. And you know what? I don't remember one day since I came here almost 12 years ago in the state of Arizona that I did not have a gun on me in my holster every morning I get up, every day. And the only reason why I put it away when I have to go to these places that I try to avoid, like the plague, like, the post office and other places that could be private business that they don't want at that point, I just don't go. But or federal building, of course, or, if you have to go to court houses, or I don't go there, thank God. But anyway, the point is, it's a great place to be. Let's enjoy it. Let's use it, but also let's become better than we are. Always there is a way to be better. All right, little break. Then we're ready for our number 3. But more important, I have another little more information to share with you before we finish. Incredible opportunity with the new administration, with President Trump, to repeal all these executive orders from that piece of, I don't want to call it names, but anyway, Mr. Obama. That's all I can tell you right now. Thank God it's gone. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. When can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers
and people with disabilities.
Everyone wants safety and security for their family and loved ones. But there's a certain type of person who's willing to accept that responsibility as their own. If you're like me and you own a firearm for self-defense and personal protection, this short video is for you. You know, as responsible Americans, we all have auto insurance, home insurance. Some of us even have insurance for our cell phones. But what about education, training, and legal and financial protection for when you're forced to use your own gun? Have you ever wondered what would happen in the event you were forced to pull the trigger to protect your family and loved ones? Do you trust our legal system? Do you know exactly how the civil and criminal courts work? Do you have a good lawyer waiting for your call right now? Can you imagine being in the situation where you had to come up with a $100,000 bail bond and then another $50,000 or $75,000 to hire a criminal defense team, all because you did the right thing and defended your family? What if you had to settle for a public defender? A public defender who didn't have a world-class legal team and probably didn't even think you were innocent. And what if you survived the criminal proceedings, but then the family of the evil thug sued you for $500,000? Look, I realize these are not fun questions to consider, but I think we both know that denial is never a good strategy. Well, here are a few more questions that will give you hope. What would you need to feel more confident about having to actually use your gun to defend your family? What if you were part of an ongoing education and training system that prepared you to know exactly what to do before, during, and after a violent attack? What if there was a critical response team and over 400 criminal and civil defense attorneys literally waiting for your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year? What if your self-defense actions were backed by the nation's largest member-owned Association of Responsibly Armed American Gun Owners? Hi, my name is Tim Schmidt. I'm the president and founder of the USCCA and the creator of the USCCA Self-Defense Shield. As a USCCA member, you'll receive the education, training, and legal and financial protection that will allow you to prevail when you're forced to defend your family or loved ones. You see, I started the USCCA over 13 years ago, back in 2003. My mission is to educate and train 10 million gun owners, empower and ensure 1 million USCCA members, stop 20,000 crimes, and in turn, save 1,000 lives. And I'd like you and your family to be a part of this mission. Right now.
Okay, guys, that's pretty much part of the video that I really invite you to watch. Go to usccaclassoffer.com, usccaclassoffer.com, and enter the code 7643. No commitment. You watch the information. You watch what benefits you have. And I tell you, I had the opportunity to find this through another gun instructor, and I was blessed. Immediately I joined. You don't have to join. Just watch the information. It could save your life in every way. Seriously. And protect you for pennies on the dollars. That's all I can say. Now, beside that, I was telling you before, we have more classes coming for the CCW, Arizona CCW classes. Another one is going to be in Havasu at the end of the month, at Havasu Guns, exactly the 26th of February. Am I right? Yes. Wow, this is coming close. I have another class in Phoenix, probably the 11th. Yes, it's going to be the 11th. And we have also a class in Golden Valley coming pretty soon. It's going to be probably in the next couple of weeks. So just check it out. Go to azccw.us. Now, I was telling something about news. President Trump, you may like him or not, may be perfect or not, but he's doing what he wanted to do, what he promised to do. That's the bottom line. And I'm very impressed. Especially when it comes down to things that, I agree. I don't agree on everything, and that's fine. We're never going to find somebody who agree on everything. But I tell you, the guy he does what he said. That's the bottom line. He's ready to also reverse some anti-gun executive order that Mr. Obama, he did unconstitutionally before he left office, okay? During the years, not just before he left office. So, what I really think is important is, first of all, people say, President Trump must go through Congress to remove Obama's executive orders. No, Obama did his executive orders out of pen and paper, and guess what? Unconstitutionally they were, and at that point, the new president has the right to remove these unconstitutional executive orders. They're supposed to be also null and void anyway. But let's think about what he can remove right now, President Trump. removing the U.S. from the anti-gun UN Arms Trade Treaty that, of course, the Obama administration signed even without being ratified by the Senate. So right there, great job. Please continue that. Do it. Repealing bullet and gun import bans, going from Obama back to George H.W. Bush semi-automatic import ban gun. I mean, that's ammunition that was banned from the import and some certain guns, not just with Obama, also with George H.W. Bush. Now, repealing the suspension of health privacy laws with respect to gun owners. I mean, think about it, now the doctors have the right and the duty to somehow spy on you. I mean, what the heck? And of course, you know the story that, the doctors, well, I think an executive action that Obama did was encourage doctors to inquire about gun ownership and to enter this information into a federal health database. I'm sure whenever you went to the doctor lately, they ask you, do you have a gun? Or is your husband has a gun? Or is your dad has a gun? Or yourself you have a gun? Anyway, restoring gun rights for over 257,000, my God, I'm tired, law-abiding veterans. Yes, because you were a veteran without due process, just because probably, guess what, you had some stress, post-traumatic stress, not even being found to be dangerous to others, they just deny your rights. That's ridiculous. And then, of course, repealing Obama's effort to strip Social Security recipients of their guns, merely because a guardian processes their checks. Just because a guardian processes their checks. So that's my point. I think this is a incredible opportunity we have to take our rights back. We may not agree with everything what Mr. President Obama is doing. President Trump is doing, but guess what? I believe that comparing what we could have faced right now, if the other side was in power, would it be the death of America? So I have a lot of hope. TPP is gone. Look, this sort of unconstitutional treaties that we go to have to pay carbon taxes just because we fart or we breathe. There's a complete scam called global warming. It's gone. Okay, EPA, it needs to get some sort of a break, and it's doing it. And so many other things we already talked. But now when it comes down to the Second Amendment, I think we have a great chance. And think about it. We have these other bills coming soon through. I really hope we can go through with those. I believe that one of the most important things is going to be they have the opportunity to have a concealed carry permit that is valid for all 50 states, like a driver license, without undermining the sovereignty of each state, for sure. I think there is a great potential. We have no excuses. The Senate, the House, supposed to be Republican. President Trump is there. He committed himself before the election. And so far, all the things he said, he's doing them. You may agree or not with him on everything, but he's doing them. I tell you, that's, I think, for me, shows integrity. Another thing I like about President Trump, he's the only president exposing the dangers of vaccine. That's so important. I mean, you know what it means when you do something like that? You are pretty much getting across, putting yourself against the biggest conglomeration of, I call it the mafia, the big pharma mafia. There are billions of dollars in the process of just the flu shots of these vaccines. With, of course, with all this sort of a shielding from lawsuits and all these things. Guess what? President Trump to go out in public and say that's amazing. People would kill you for much less. We're talking about $1 billion industry. And I'm amazed. I'm very impressed. So that's all I can say. Thank you, President Trump. As I said, I may not agree with you on everything, but I respect you for your integrity, and I try to look right now all the things that you really, I think, can be beneficial to our republic, to our basic, foundation of this republic and our rights. As I said, there are things that I don't agree with President Trump. I think sometimes it's too much of a socialist situation. People doesn't see it, but I will talk more about that. But I look at the potential that we're doing here, what it's doing also with the sovereignty, getting away from the New World Order. I think that's amazing. We never would have a chance like that with anybody else. That's what I'm saying. All right, now we are ready for our number 3. We'll talk more about love. It's going to be an interesting show, of course. And I want to say thank you very much for your help and support. You can support the show going to even just lovegunsfreedom.com. On the homepage, you will see different items you can purchase. For example, the new special concealed carry holster that you can put in the purse of your lady. Special concealed adjustable system that is a carrier system that you can somehow customize for the purse of your lady for a very affordable price, $30. Much more affordable than buy a new purse. That would cost you probably special dedicated purses about probably $60, $70. So do that. Go to lovegunsfreedom.com, and I appreciate your help. Also, don't forget, you attend one of our classes, my classes, Arizona CCW classes for just $85, free for single moms. Go please to azccw.us. So in this way, we'll keep the show free, and we can pretty much have freedom of speech. That's the most important thing. If you disagree with me, I want you on the show. Seriously. I love you to have you on the show. Just be polite, and we comply with FCC, and you're more than welcome. Don't go away. Ready for our number 3. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We'll look at that.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice. The Zanna way. Don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in .223 Wild that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and .223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499. Made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle, ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Trade on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD, Don't Trade on Us, free ebook, How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt, Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30-round magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port, Don't Trade on Us, for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com, www.freedomrifle.com. Get your Freedom Rifle now.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time, getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really live.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Final hour. It is all about love. Now, as you can hear my caveman voice, I have already told you during the first hour and probably even during the second hour, but just in case you're tuning in right now, I'm going through a terrible cold. And you know what? For a moment, I was tempted. Maybe I should not do the show this Sunday. Guess what? That's fine. The show must go on. And doesn't matter. All I care that you can understand me. Now, this is the hour about love. We touch different topics. And I really like this hour, by the way. It's probably the most, variety and also a little bit different. Almost put people off guard. You know, when you say, oh, my gosh, you just talk about guns during the second hour. In the first hour, we went heavy with freedom of speech and all these other important things, our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and bang, now you put love. Yes, I really believe at the end of the day, without love, life is pretty dry. And that's, the engine, that motivates us to do everything. After all, we want to leave something better for our next generation. And that's the most powerful weapon, I always say. Now, the aspect of love I want to touch today is maybe something a little more, funny almost, but it's serious. Because love today, you can find love in many ways. It is not like 100 years ago. You're stuck in your little village and you're going to get married probably with, the next door, lady, if you like. if you even find out. But anyway, now you can have the opportunity to meet people from around the world. With the internet, of course, with different dating sites, but I think Facebook, even, of course, we know it's a mass control organization to completely control our life, at least to know what we do, what we say, but also can give you the opportunity to meet, let's say, people from around the world. Now, there is also the other side. It also offers the opportunity to scammers out there to infiltrate our life and try to, prey on our instincts, on our desires. And of course, if you're smart enough, you understand it. Sometimes people, maybe a little bit, always, you never know. Sometimes you hope almost it's real. But anyway, regardless, I want to talk about this topic with a Facebook friend that I have, and we've been talking for a long time about different topics. Normally we talk about politics, but lately we've been talking about Facebook love. And it seems like he has a great story going with a lady from Italy. And, of course, this my friend from Facebook is from Michigan. His name is Mark from Michigan. Let me bring him in. Hey, Mark, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Nice to talk to you, man. Finally, we have a chance to talk in real life. Normally, we always PM and all this stuff. IM, instant messages. Tell me a little bit about you if you want to. Who is Mark from Michigan? Who are you?
I'm self-employed. I spread lime for farmers and agriculture.
Okay. What do you do exactly? How do you spray stuff? By plane or by truck? How do you do that?
I use a big truck with the flotation tires on it.
Okay. So you're pretty busy. Is it cold right now there, I guess, right? I mean, it's pretty hard to work. Are you working right now? It's kind of a cold moment.
Right now it's too warm. It's 40 degrees, so the fields are too muddy. A week ago it was 5 degrees, and it was too cold to work.
Okay, so interesting. Now it's too warm, 40 degrees. And okay, so what is the best weather for you to work normally when you can go out and do your job?
My busiest season is in the spring before the farmers plant, and then in the summer it's really slow because the crops are in. And then I have some business in the fall after they've harvested the crops.
Okay, so interesting. And you've been doing this for a while? It's something I'm just curious. I like always to know a little bit about everybody else's business. Since you know my business, I guess, if you listen to my show. How long you been doing this?
It's really a third generation business, and
wow.
I was so into motorcycles as a teenager. I thought I was going to be a motorcycle mechanic, and I started working for my father my senior year in high school just to get out of school.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, couldn't make enough money to make a living. I bought a truck. I graduated high school in 79, bought a truck for my dad in 1983. It was too seasonal, so I started going to electronics school. And 3 months into electronics school, I got an opportunity to haul industrial waste for the Upjohn Company, and that was pretty intensive hours for about 15 years. So
wow.
I boosted my business with an industrial account for 15 years, and when that contract fizzled out, I continued with the lime business till I'm now 55 years old.
Okay, interesting. So you have interesting background. Of course, you live in Michigan, a place I've never been, and normally we're here in the Southwest. We have really no idea how cold can be life when, you never went to places like that. But now let's talk a little bit about this online love. First of all, you think it's possible to find the love online through Facebook? What do you think? You ever had any type of a real love experience among your Facebook friends?
Well, when I had MySpace, and I thought, why would anyone need Facebook? And then I couldn't recover my password from MySpace because I changed my internet provider actually changed my email address by changing the name of their company. So I made a Facebook account, and the first thing I did is kind of reconnected with friends from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of curiosity, I found some of my ex-girlfriends, which I still have a friendship with.
Wow, that's great.
And now as far as really haven't had any romance on Facebook, I got involved with the Patriot movement in January when the ranchers took over the Malheur Wildlife Refuge. I started following that, and I have friendships in the Patriot movement, and I realize now I could never date a woman that's liberal. And so the women that are my friends on Facebook through the Patriot, they're more like a friendship. There's just, maybe 5 of them I've had phone conversations with.
Yeah, normally I don't even talk to over the phone with anybody, so you're kind of up there. I mean, 5, that's already a big step. Normally I just interact through Facebook, post, and really even through, I don't really have much time to myself to even instant message unless it's something related to business, to the show or news. I know you send me a lot of good news many times, private messages. But tell me something, if we can talk about it. I know that you've been in touch. We don't need to mention names, of course. We keep it private with a lady from Italy. What do you think? It's just a friendship, or maybe this lady from Italy on Facebook is maybe a little more of a closer friendship that could become something more? What do you think?
Well, she did invite me to go visit her in Italy about 3 years ago, and due to government harassment, the township made me move every piece of equipment and truck I own off my property, and I lost a whole summer doing that, and then I had an obligation to build a fence, and she claims that I'm not serious about coming to meet her, but I keep having obligations with business. But let me backtrack. When I was young, I had several girlfriends that probably couldn't have children, and I thought I still wanted to have children, so I stayed single.
Yeah.
Then before you know it, I was getting too old, and so then I decided the internet dating. I used a marriage agency from Russia.
Wow.
And when you get on those marriage agency lists, a lot of scammers do write to you.
Yeah.
And they email you, and then they try and pull scams.
Yeah. I mean, like the Nigerian scam, they try to ask you for money. They try to say, come to Russia, or we come to you. And, I heard, you can see this stuff on TV, watch on TV. It's pretty scary. Can be also dangerous too, by the way.
The most common scam is you send them a bunch. Well, first they need money for a visa, then they need money for a passport. Yeah. Then they need money for an airline ticket to come see you. But really, from a lot of countries, they can't come see you unless they have a lot of countries can't get a tourist visa, so they'd have to have a fiancé visa. And the only way to do that is to go to their country and meet them first. Well, I was 38 years old, and I was writing 2 girls. A nice 32-year-old Russian girl. Yeah. Probably was nice as could be, but couldn't speak a word of English. Uh-huh. And then a 18-year-old that sent me pictures of her in a bikini that I thought, wow, she's pretty good looking and perfect English. And I thought, well, I don't want to go to Ekaterinburg, Russia in the middle of the winter, so I had another online friend that was in a ski club that was going to go skiing in France, and I says, well, heck, I ought to invite her to France. It's a lot better weather. Okay. So I did meet her in France for a week, but she was a spoiled little princess, and there was no marriage came of that one.
Wow. I mean, I'm curious now, I like to think that I don't want to limit. Love knows no boundaries, okay? I mean, if you find somebody special, I don't care where they're from. But maybe no women around from America. I mean, did you try with any local Michigan lady?
Yeah, just recently, due to the fact that I've been working less and had less financial, I was just basically poor, couldn't afford the vacations to France or Colombia or Brazil or whatever. So I have been dating some more women locally recently. The Italian girl, it appeared we were pretty serious for 2 or 3 years, and then she got mad at me over a year ago. We didn't have any communications for about a year, and the communication has just been in the last month, really.
Okay, I can ask you something, because it's interesting. Since he's from Italy, we speak the language, I speak the language, and of course I'll keep this private, okay? It's up to you. Right now I'm on Facebook, okay? I don't know if you have access on Facebook. Can you send me the link of her page? I'm just curious to know who is she, if you want to. It's up to you, of course. If something you want to keep private, I want to. But what I was trying to offer is this, since I'm from Italy and I speak Italian, if you want, I could also offer you, for example, a free gift. I do serenades, okay? And I do them on the air. I call the person that you want to impress like a gift. And I sing an Italian serenade. I don't know if you heard last Sunday show. I did a serenade for a gentleman from, where he was from Prescott, okay, to his wife. And it's kind of a fun service. It's free, by the way. And I was going to ask you, if it's something that we can somehow organize, maybe do it for your lady, so I can also check her out and see if she's Italian. Because I tell you, even in Italy now, there are so many scammers when it comes down to the, let's say, love situations. I mean, we have Nigerians, they move to Italy. We have the Russian mob move to Italy. It's a big business, by the way, and it's more than just losing some few dollars that you send them. Is also right now what's happening. It is about you go there and you may never come back home. Seriously, they kidnap you. I mean, they can get you and knock you down in a room, and they're gonna start money from you. So it's a serious business. And I'm saying probably it's fine with you. I'm sure I pray that's a great lady. But if you want, I offer myself, since I'm from Italy, I speak the language, and I know a little bit around there. I'll be happy even just to give you an opinion if you want to, and even to give her a free serenade, to sing for her a serenade dedicated, of course, to her by you. And she's going to be really happy, I guess. Normally they're really happy. Normally I charge people for my service, but I do to my listeners on the air for free. So let me know. It's up to you. I like to help you out, at least to verify what type of story is this, because I'm almost curious now.
Yeah, we might be able to try that. She doesn't I don't even think she uses Facebook. We've been talking on Skype.
Yeah,
and like I said, I lost contact with her for a year. How did you
find her? I mean,
changed.
She's on Facebook, right, Mark?
Just kind of the blue that she popped up on Skype again.
Mark, but she has a Facebook profile, because that's the way you met her, right, the first time?
No, she doesn't have a Facebook profile.
How did you find her? I'm just curious.
Actually, she was a webcam model. She supposedly was in dental school.
Okay, well, one second, please. She was a webcam model, and she's in dental school. So you were, and it's none of my business. I mean, you were just having fun with a webcam model, and then you became friend with her from there. Am I right?
Right. She's 35 now, or 36. She was 29 when I first knew her, and
wow.
And she smoked for a year, and I says, well, I like you, but I can't be serious with a woman that smokes. So we established a friendship.
Smoke cigarettes?
And then
what does she smoke?
She quit smoking.
What does she smoke? Regular cigarettes? Pot? What does she smoke?
Cigarettes. Let me backtrack again. The Russian girl was a spoiled little princess, and waiting for the Russian woman to write me emails takes a long time. Back when I did that, they didn't have their own computer. They had to go to the marriage agency and use a marriage agency computer to write to me.
Wow.
So that the layover time was, a week or two between emails. So heck, I started chatting with these webcam models, and I thought, heck, you can watch them and see how they act and tell whether they're honest or whether they have a nice personality. So I was chatting with a girl in Brazil.
Oh my gosh, you got really everywhere. I mean, that's
yep.
You went.
And I went
around the world.
Went in Brazil, and I don't know, for 10 days, and we got along so well. I stayed. I ended up staying 14 days, and we got along great. She's a little too crazy to marry. She has arthritis.
What do you mean too crazy to marry? I mean, if I want to marry a woman, I want a good woman that also she's crazy. I mean, crazy in bad. What does she do for when you say crazy? What does it mean? She's kind of wild.
Crazy means that she's paranoid. She worries about everything and doesn't trust people, and had a low. Well, she's actually told me a lot of stories. The term is pathological liar. It was just someone with a low self-esteem, and she just the important thing she was honest about. But she told a lot of stories. But anyway, I got all the stories straightened out, and I gave her a hard time for a year or two about making up stories.
Wow.
She has fibromyalgia. The honest truth is that Michigan would be too cold for her. She could never stand to.
I see. So
live in Michigan, and that was 14 years ago, and
wow.
She was 32 then. She's aged terribly, and she has the fibromyalgia and arthritis, and she just she was really beautiful then. She's still real pretty now, but she has a lot of health issues.
All right.
So then I met another girl in Colombia who was single the first two had no children, single and spoke perfect English, and she was in college to be a lawyer.
Yes.
And I went to meet her. She's really intelligent, real attractive. I would say we got along well, but actually she was quite disrespectful. She would go to school and leave me at the hotel for quite a long time during the day and not come back when she should. Well, the truth is she smoked marijuana every day, and it was such a problem that I couldn't see myself being married with someone that smokes marijuana every day, and I didn't know that until I met her in real life. So that one feels good. Then I met another one that was really smart. She'd gone to college to be a accountant, and she was going to go to architecture school.
Yeah.
And then she got pregnant, and she had a baby, and her boyfriend was insanely jealous, so she left him when her daughter was really young. When I met her, her daughter was 3, and we got along great. She wanted to move to the USA, but then the father wouldn't let the daughter move to the USA, so nothing came to that romance. So then I met an older one with a daughter that she was like 9, and by the time I met her, the daughter was 12. And
you busy, man.
This girl was a poor girl and uneducated. The first 3 I met were all college educated. The first one, the one in Brazil, speaks 5 languages. She used to live in Japan. And then after that, she lived in Italy because she has relatives in Italy. Her grandparents are from Italy. Wow. And I met her grandparents, and I met the whole family. Really nice people.
So you got all these international love stories. I mean, you kind of took a lot of your time and money. I mean, you also travel a lot of overseas, at least, outside the country. And just curious, I mean, did you ever try to maybe go to your local bar or maybe your local church, try to get something going locally? Did you try that in Michigan?
In the past, I'd met girls in the bar, but it seems like you can't meet a girl in the bar that doesn't smoke, so I don't do that. And I'm not religious, so I don't go to church. My Mennonite Amish friend has a really cute sister that I like that's single, but then they found out when I lived with a girl in Brazil for 14 days, they decided I'm not a virgin, so now I'm forbidden to date their sister.
Oh, my God. You must be a virgin to date?
Unless you're a widow, you must be a virgin or a widow to date an Amish woman.
Oh, Amish. Okay. That's a different type of course, belief.
She's Mennonite Amish. She drives a car and did work. She's had various jobs. More men leave the church than women, so there's a shortage of men within their community. Because once the man leaves the church, then they probably wouldn't. Well, I'm out of the church, so too. Well, I would have to join the church, and then. But
what is? Did you ever been a part of any religious organization of group or whatever? I mean, or you always been not religious at all? I'm just curious.
Well, I live within about 3 miles of where I was born, but when I was a small child and lived in the town, the small town, I did go to Sunday school until 2nd grade, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's the last time I've been involved with any formal church. Over the years, I've gone to church with 2 or 3 friends and invited me to be open-minded, but I didn't continue going. I only went one time.
And what is if you believe, what is denomination, or what are you, Baptist, Catholic, Christian, Mormon, what are you? I'm just curious, or what you were somehow when you were trying to go to church.
Well, now I'm an atheist, but the church I went to was a Methodist.
Methodist, okay. Listen, no, it's the
same. I think I was told I was baptized. I can't remember being baptized. I can't tell you if I was ever baptized or not.
Okay. As I said, this is a personal, journey that you follow what you think, of course, it's your belief. This is pretty much the story. My only thing, is pretty curious, the fact that you spent a lot of time and, you went around, you went to meet in Brazil and then other parts of the world, and now you're contacting for a long time, ladies, like this lady from Italy. I mean, it's kind of time consuming and also money consuming, because now, of course, we have internet and Skype, it's free. But I can imagine when there was just the phone, phone calls and international phone calls and bills and travel agencies and stuff like that. Now, talking about that, you just reminded me that if you want, you can also use the opportunity to go to freedomlovers.us. That is a website that I created. It is 100% free. I mean, there is no credit card request, nothing. You just put your name if you want to, or any funny name you want. You can upload your photos, and it's a website that you can meet like-minded people. It is not just for dating, it's also for friendship, to try to get like-minded people that, to create network, even for business. And it's called freedomlovers.us. I launched it about 2 years ago, and you can meet people from around the world. And you can also chat. There is also a service you can upload your blogs, your videos, photos, and things like that. So, did you ever go there? Did you ever heard about freedomlovers.us?
No, I've never heard of it. I just wrote that
Perfect.
website down.
Yeah, go there. It's completely free. This is, by the way, one of my projects, and I support it, of course, with a sponsor of my, products that I sell, like the coffee, the Zanna coffee, or my songs. And when I created this website, I wanted to create a place where it was more just than dating, was about networking and finding friends that we believe, at least in the basic core, let's say, beliefs. I don't say we need to agree on everything, but, we believe in freedom. That's the first thing we agree. And I thought it would be nice, take a look. I mean, it's going to be for sure cheaper than, going around. And you never know. I mean, be careful, though. There are scammers everywhere. I see the Nigeria scammers. They come around, man. They don't stop. We try to block them, but at that point, we say people, they need to find out the real people from the phony people. But that's another story. Anyway, Lisa, I wanted to offer you again, not only to go to freedomlovers.us, where hopefully you can find maybe a friend or maybe a local lady from around your area, just to have a friend, a good friend, maybe something else. But also I want to remind you that if you want, especially with your Italian lady friend, I'd be happy to give her a call and sing for her a serenade live, and maybe just give you my feedback, because as I said, I'm sure probably she's a great lady that she just looking for you, but at the same time you will be surprised. Even in Italy, of course, even the Italian scammers are out there. Like, for example, I heard nightmare stories of people, coming from America, going to Italy and meeting finally this great lady, and was really the same lady that they talk on Facebook or on Skype. The problem that she was a prostitute working for example, the Romanian mafia or other type of local mafia. And then all the drama coming down. Oh my gosh, I need money because I've been kidnapped. And that, of course, the man gets emotionally involved. And so, oh my God, how is that possible? And then you have no idea, and even very dangerous too. So all I'm saying, I'm happy that, if I can help, I'm here, at least to give you my 2 little cents feedback if you want me to, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've dated women locally. It's so uneventful that it's normal. It doesn't come up. As far as having friendship, I've met a couple of women on Facebook that, one, she's got a lot of health issues, and she's from she went to the same high school as me. Mm-hmm. We became friends. It turns out she was living in Minnesota. And then her abusive boyfriend, she left him and moved back to the area that I'm in. And I says, we should meet for dinner or whatever. And she says, that'd be great. But she says, I can't be a girlfriend because I have, again, it's fibromyalgia and this and that. And she's got her own Harley motorcycle and I have a motorcycle. So we agreed we'll be friends and go out to dinner and go for motorcycle rides. But
okay.
She got so many health issues and she's 5 years younger than me in the winter that she's not really even up to going out right now. So it's amazing what you run into.
Hey, by the way,
as far as Match.com goes, I go through the profiles, and if it says liberal, I don't even contact them. I had a date pending to meet a woman who was, she sings in nightclubs part-time.
Uh-huh.
And she lived real near to me, and she's into horses and everything. And we had a date all planned out to meet, and I sent her the video, Clinton Cash, and I says, Clintons are bad, and she unfriended me and blocked me on Facebook.
Okay. That's why exactly I created freedomlovers.us, because it wasn't going, I mean, I don't say that we need to agree on every political ideas, but the idea when you read what the mission statement of this website, of this network, it is exactly to find like-minded people. And I'm not saying that you must be a Republican or you must be a Libertarian, but for sure you must not be a statist, like, somebody who's still with a ham on their eyes, like somebody still voting for Hillary. That's for sure. It's not going to, make it happen on freedomlovers.us. But so I invite you to go there. And also I want to remind you, we are here on the air. This is the Hour About Love Also, when you go to lovegunsfreedom.com, on the section called Love, you will see I have a section for all singles that they are in the Patriot movement, at least they love freedom, and I give them the opportunity to have a direct link to their Facebook page. So it's like some sort of on-the-air dating. So I want to give you the opportunity now. I'll give you right now the microphone, and you have 3 minutes, all the time you need, to introduce yourself, who you are, where do you live, and, of course, how old are you, and let's say try to pitch yourself, because maybe there is a woman out there, a great lady, maybe from Michigan or not that far, would like to meet you. So that would be a great opportunity to even, use this radio show, especially on the internet. We have a lot of listeners on the internet, to let yourself know to a potential audience of single ladies. So, Mark, I give you the microphone. Introduce yourself. Come on, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Mark Hayward in Vicksburg, Michigan. I'm self-employed, and I enjoy doing outdoor things like fishing. My business is seasonal, and I'm busy in the fall, so I don't hunt anymore. I used to. I like motorcycles. I used to do windsurfing. I haven't done that in the last few years. I like dirt bikes. I like camping and canoeing. I like working on cars. I like hot rod cars. And I guess I didn't need 3 minutes.
Okay, that's okay. And the last thing is, what are you looking for in a woman? I mean, I know that we have always in our heart, in our brain, an ideal woman. If I had right now like the magic wand, and I could somehow create out of thin air the perfect ideal woman for Mark, give me everything, starting from physical aspects, and we go all the way up or down to, of course, belief and, personality, things like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't state my age. I'm 55.
Okay, that's important. Yeah, go ahead. Now, tell me about a woman.
They say personality is the most important thing. I guess I like someone that's cheerful and easygoing, has a good sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Although, like the Italian women or Latin women, they have a pretty feisty temper. You don't want to get on their bad side, I guess. Someone that's somewhat athletic and is into physical fitness and good health, and someone that doesn't smoke, maybe social drinking, but of course not an alcoholic and not a drug user.
Physical, you like blonde, brunette, red, or big breast, small breast? What is your favorite?
Really, that's physically attractive, yes. A particular body type is not that important, as long as they're, I would just say, athletic or physically fit.
I know some guys, for example, they really like, for example, just brunette. I mean, they're obsessed. Mm-hmm. Or somebody, they must have a blonde. Or somebody, I don't know, they have fixated with the red hair. I mean, of course, I believe there is much more than that. I mean, it's all the package. It's the personality. Of course, everybody has their beauty. You can be a beautiful person regardless your hair color. But still, sometimes people like to fix on details like that. All right. And what do you think about? Are you just looking for a date, for a girlfriend, or maybe you're ready now finally for the big step, a marriage and kids or things like that?
Yeah, I'm not against having a serious relationship. It seems pretty much all women want commitment. What I found on like Facebook dating though is if they live or Match.com, if they live any distance away, they have a job and have a house, and most of them don't want to relocate. That's probably why I went to countries like Colombia, where their dream is to move to the USA and they have nothing to leave behind really. So that's pretty much why I thought that idea would work better for me.
Okay. I mean, why the phone is ringing, speaking about ladies here, I got all these new people from freedomlovers.us that I'm verifying the identity, by the way. Let me just turn it off. All right, anyway, listen, I want to thank you for your call. I appreciate your input, and remember, you have a free serenade on me for your Italian lady. So just let me know, and whenever you're ready, we will make this call, and of course, I can speak Italian, of course, better than English. I can ask you also questions for you. I'll be happy to also be your messenger, okay?
All right. When you introduced yourself or your blog. You said something about an AM radio show then?
I mean, yeah, the radio is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. Excuse me, the radio show is called Love, Guns, and Freedom. And the station where it broadcasts on the air, it is 1340 AM, K-Talks, out of Needles. And it reaches, of course, Needles, California, and then Mojave County, Lake Havasu area, Bullhead, Fort Mojave, and also, of course, Laughlin, Nevada. So it's a tri-state area talk radio. I broadcast, of course, from my studio in Arizona. I try to cross the state line less as possible. But, of course, then you listen to the show on the Internet because it's all directly from the station, KTalks1340.com, I guess. I'll double check. But you go to lovegunsfreedom.com, you will find all the links there for the broadcast, for the webcast, excuse me. But normally it's on the air. This is also a radio show on the air.
I was familiar with your podcast. I didn't realize that you broadcast on a radio station also.
Yeah, this is pretty much the idea. It started from the radio. Now, I believe Internet has probably even more potential. Look at you. I mean, you're from Michigan and you listen to me, and I have people from Australia, England, Italy. So that's the beautiful thing about the Internet and the radio. It can be really huge, So, listen, thank you very much. Let me go have a little break. And I remember, whenever you're ready to talk to your lady friend in Italy, I'll be happy to serenade her and get more information about her, okay?
All right.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much for also all your posts and news that you always send me.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Read Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
Here we go, guys. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM with Luca Zanna. This is the final hour, the hour about love. We had before an interesting segment about this sort of finding love online, on Facebook and all the scams out there. Be careful and things like that. But also the opportunity that really there is an opportunity to meet people from around the world that you may connect. Now, I'm always about love. I really believe that another form of love is to take care of yourself, take care of your family. Try to stay healthy. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do, of course. But at the same time, I always say, my opinion, my grandfather was able to live till 90, almost 90 years old, because he always stayed away from doctors. Never took medication. I'm not telling you that that's what you should do, but guess what? I believe that there are natural ways out there to take care of problems. And unfortunately, there is like the mafia, worse than the mafia. The big pharma wants you hooked on their medications. That's a fact. It's my opinion. I stay behind that. Yes, there are some situations that you may need their stuff, but most of the cases I believe that what you get, it is not really to cure the disease, but just to, let's say, mitigate the effects of what you have. So they never go to the real problem, to the real cause of the problem, but they just somehow keep you going, removing the symptoms. That's my humble opinion. I really believe. I hate medication. I don't even take aspirins. But regardless, I believe that sometimes our bodies start to break down, and we need to find ways to heal and cure ourselves. I believe in natural remedies. I think really that the nature can give us so much that it's like a hidden knowledge that they were trying to us completely to make us forget or never let us know. So I always like to find, when I find on my show, for example, guests, like the guest I'm going to bring you right now, was already my guest a few months ago, or last year, I guess, I'm sorry, that she really dedicated herself to try to share this information. I think it's a beautiful form of love. It's also love to our human beings, our fellow humans out there, okay? But I tell you, when you're sick, it's a very bad thing. Sometimes we forget. It's miserable. It's a human condition that belongs to our mortality. And I tell you, can be very, very bad. Quality of life, it's important. When you're sick all day, you're depressed, or you are, even just a toothache, your life is miserable. So let's try to be happy. Anyway, let me bring her on. Her name is Kat Ellis from the state. Every time I say, people laugh at me. I'm going to make you laugh right now. Massachusetts. Did I say it right? Oh, my God. Kat, are you there?
You said it perfectly. Yes,
wow.
You got it exactly right.
Finally, after 18 years, I made it. Okay. Kat, remind us a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from, and more important, about your website so people can see what you do. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, my name is Kat Ellis, and I'm an herbalist. I'm also a prepper, and so I ended up sort of in this niche of, working with herbs specifically for those times when there may not be a doctor. And, that could be any number of things. That could be anything from, let's say you just have a really, really bad cold and you just don't want to get up to go to the doctor because it's a cold and you just want some relief from the congestion. There's no real need to get up and go drive there. Or perhaps, maybe you live out somewhere remotely and medical help is not going to be, on time they won't be coming quickly. So you might need to respond quickly to some things. It may not be easy to get to a doctor. It could also be due to a loss of insurance or some of these crazy insurance policies that were touted as affordable, but have deductibles that are so high that people can't actually make they're paying out of pocket. So they're never actually going to get to use the insurance unless they have some major operation, and they'll still have their deductible of thousands to pay. So there could be any number of reasons for why, you may not be able to get in to see a doctor. The other thing is that many things can be handled at home. And once upon a time, all medicine was herbal medicine. I mean, all of it was. And, I know that a lot of people will try and downplay it. Like I had somebody say to me once, nature's nice, but I believe in science. And I'm just sitting there thinking, then you really truly don't understand science, because if you did, then you'd understand that nature is not outside of science. Plants are made up of hundreds of chemical constituents, and, they have physiological impacts upon our health. And, if the thing about learning to work with herbs is that they're a lot easier than learning to, go to school to become a doctor. You can affect a lot of change very, easily at home and simply at home. The methods to make your own herbal remedies, nothing like, having to go to school to become a chemist and go work for a pharmaceutical company and do all research and development. You can grow these in your yard and then bring them in and make up your remedies yourself. So you can learn this form of medicine, very easily at home. You can either, and there's different ways that you can learn them. You can either invest in a lot of books and experiment, a lot of trial and error. You can do a lot of reading and a lot of experimentation. And honestly, that's how I started out. And, it was kind of slow going, but, there was also a lot of value in doing that too, because there's lots of trial and error, and you do learn a lot from that. You can also network with other people, because online, there's so many different groups that you can join in different social media networks where you can discuss things with other people who are using herbs and nutrition and other natural, forms of healthcare, preventative healthcare and such, and also for responding when there is an issue. So networking with people is a lot easier now than it used to be. You can also go take classes. You can take classes and honestly, even though I teach online classes, if you can find a local teacher somewhere close to you, that's generally the best way to go, because now you've got this personal contact with someone that you can really, that you can go to for all sorts of stuff. Learning herbs in person is wonderful. However, a lot of us just don't have time for that so much anymore. And, online learning is sort of become, far more common. It's no longer this weird kind of like, an online course, what the heck is that? A lot of people take online courses. I'm actually back in school, and three of my courses this semester are online entirely. So, it gives me a lot more freedom.
Kat, let me ask you something. Let me ask you, first of all, you have a website or more. What is your website? People can check you out, what you do.
Yes, it's herbalpepper.com.
Okay. Now, one thing you say very important. You know, many people say, "Oh, I believe in science. You know, I don't want to use herbs." I would like to remind everybody out there that nature is science. I mean, everything that the chemical world does, try to copy, imitate, and patent what nature has been doing since the beginning of life. That's the bottom line. Because, for example, you know, and without getting into much details, you know, many opiates, many drugs out there, that they are very addictive, okay? I don't want to start to get into names, but let's say you get these magic pills that they knock you down. They get the same type of formula from natural substances, okay? Painkillers that are much more addictive, by the way, chemically. And the problem that I find out in my experience, especially coming from, you know, a family that I was able to, lucky enough, to have the option to use homeopathy. That, by the way, is science. It's been proven scientifically that, the real problem is, in my opinion, with the regular allopathy, or at least the regular Western medicine, is that they never really try to attempt to cure the causes, why that person has a cancer, why that person has a cold or a headache. No, they just go straight to the symptoms, and they suppress the idea to find out the sources. But regardless, with nature, even just with the herbal world, what are really people I want to like to understand, that these herbs, they are chemically, they have substances, of course, naturally, but they are still chemically strong, and if used right, they are many less side effects. And first of all, the freedom that you can decide how much, first of all, the money that you can save, but also the important thing, I really believe nature can be dangerous, of course. You need to know what you're doing, but at the same time, it's always less dangerous, in my opinion, than some chemical that they always give you, watch the TV, the commercial. They want to try to cure you what? High pressure, and you have a list of things you may have after that. I mean, it's like a book, seriously. So I don't believe, in my opinion, that, this is not science. It is science, must be done correctly. As you know, you must know what you're doing. That's why I'm glad that you're offering these classes, online classes, where people can get these online classes. At the same website?
Yeah, just go to herbalpepper.com. I have a class that is right on the very front page there. You just have to scroll down just a little bit, but it's right on the front page.
Yes.
And it's called the Herbal Skills Intensive. And right now, registration is open for the March session, which will start on March 6th. This is an 8-week course. It is pretty intense, but it covers both beginner and intermediate herbal skills.
Wow.
And there is an online portion. You can go online. You can read the material that's in the units that's there. There are tutorial videos, but then there's also a weekly meeting online as well, so that I do live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's online. Some of it's reading, some of it's watching videos, and some of it is interactive. So, and then I also have a special Facebook group for more, so they can network, so the students can network with each other. So I'm, trying to create that local herbal teacher feel, but online in a way that's more affordable and more convenient for people to get. And this class, this will give you some real serious herbal skills, and it also covers 30 different herbs. It is actually more than 30, but when I put that up there was 30 herbs included. But so there's a lot going on in a short period of time, but I think it prepares you to go on, and you can, after this, you'll understand just about any herbal book that you read. There won't be any confusion. You'll get it. You can, focus just on studying the herbs instead of, looking at all the different ways you can make stuff with it. So
let me ask you something.
A lot. Yeah.
You say how many weeks exactly? It's like
8.
It's like a daily meeting, online, live, or like something on demand you can do. How does it work?
It's a hybrid. It's both. It is 8 weeks worth of. What I did was there are 8 weeks in the course, and there are 8 modules, 1 module a week.
Okay.
There are different units within the modules. They can work through those units online at their own speed, and once a week, one night a week for 1 hour, we get together in a webinar kind of a session, and then we talk about various herbs. We talk about the homework. We talk about anything that might come up, and it's recorded, and you get a recording of that conversation too.
Wow.
So I'm trying to cover a lot of different aspects, because some people who live far out in the sticks, Online conferencing, the live streaming may not be good for them. They may just need to read something. Someone who's got broadband, it's a little different. So I'm trying to cover a number of different ways of communicating the information. So.
I think it's a great idea for many reasons. First of all, you don't need to be anymore like, okay, I live next to you, 1 hour from you, 30 minutes from you. You can live on Mars, and you can still get this information. It's priceless. I think it's a great idea, and I really like it. Then I tell you what I think, the fact that, I don't know exactly, I'm going to ask you right now. I mean, this is something, I'm sure there are other situations out there, but the way you do it with the sort that becomes almost personal, right now, after all, think about, we have Skype, we have webcams, we can talk like we were in person to anywhere in the world. You can do personal lessons, you can go also in group lessons. I mean, that's an amazing idea, in my opinion. I think it's great. And also, I hope, I'm sure, it's still affordable, I guess. How much cost? I have no idea. I'm just curious. For the class, how much would it be?
This is $100. When I've taught this in person over 8 months, It was $100 a month. So This is significantly less expensive.
Wow, this is so...
because I'm not there at a particular studio teaching for an 8-hour day. They can get that. They can get that online on their own time. So it makes it much more affordable, and we can get it done a lot faster.
Yeah, this is exactly, now, given the opportunity to do this, let's say more on mass scale, or at least in wider scale, the price that can go down. So it's affordable to everybody. I would like to remind this to everybody, seriously. I'm not even trying to, I'm not getting paid by you. I'm not pinching you. The only reason why I bring you here, because I believe it's a great idea what you're doing. And I think more important, can benefit my listeners. The idea is this, guys. If you get sick, and sometimes you may have access to the regular medications that, by the way, my philosophy, I refuse. I don't even take aspirin. I hate, I never took a Tylenol, I guess, one time in my life, and I said, this is bad. But that's me, okay, my opinion. But the point is, there are so many beautiful opportunities through nature that you can grow your own vegetables, but also you can grow your own medical herbs and create the basic, foundation to try to take care. Probably I say at least 70% of the average stuff that we get from, blood pressure could be, I tell you, a lot of things, fever, could be diseases like cold. I'm telling you, and I don't want to go into the cancer stuff because I've been reading a lot, and I know that there is so much that they don't let us know. And of course, I'm no doctor. I'm not giving you any medical advice. You do what you want. But I tell you, me personally, before I go to anywhere else, I will go to find out exactly what we have in nature. So that's my point. I think it's a great, important service that you're offering right now. Anything specifically, for example, it's been a very crazy cold this winter, at least in Arizona. Very not normal, very crazy. People went to the hospital 3-4 weeks. Unbelievable. I mean, talking about very serious stuff I've never seen in my life. What's going on the East Coast? Did you have something similar?
We have had, there has been one heck of a respiratory bug that has been going around. It doesn't want to go. It just lingers, and there's this horrible cough that just won't quit. And, and then it's keeping people up at night, then they don't get the rest that they need. And, the entire abdomen just gets so fatigued and tired from all the coughing. So, it's been pretty nasty this season.
Exactly. This is my point. We had this situation that somehow has been very different. But what do you think about a solution, natural solution? What would you suggest?
Well, I think, if you get a respiratory infection, these things come around, and, it might be, viral. It could be bacterial. You don't really know because we don't test for those things. But, there are herbs that are wonderful at helping make those coughs more productive, at helping to support the body heal itself. I have an herbal blend where I have mullein and I have cloves and lemon juice in this. There's a bunch of things in it. There's like 10 to 12 different ingredients in it. But, it just opens up the lungs, and it calms that spasm, that spastic cough that people get where they just can't. They go into a coughing fit. They just can't help it. And it's not productive. It's just very painful. So, but I think in the realm when it comes to, especially respiratory viral infections, this is really one of those areas that herbal remedies really do shine. Everything from taking tea to herbal steams, breathing in that herbal medicine directly into, into the body, getting it right to those tissues. And it's very soothing as well to soothe, those irritated mucosal tissues. And they just provide such quick relief. I mean, it's more thorough. And some of the ingredients for a number of the remedies that I have, actually, if you go to my website and you go to the homepage at herbalprepper.com and you sign up for my newsletter, there is a free ebook that you get for the cold and flu season, and I got tons of remedies in there, so they can download that. And if for any reason you don't see it, you'll be emailed the book. If you don't see it, check your spam folder, and if you still don't see it, let me know, and I'll email it to you personally.
But I'm gonna get this book. Book myself. I want to get this one. I want to make you laugh now, just to change, 1 second. Thing from
sure.
When I was a kid, I was a young man, at least 17. And I was inside the military school. I was back home. I had one hobby. I wanted to become some sort of a herbal guy. I wanted to cure myself with the herbs. And I was very young. Yeah. The first thing I was working on, think about how really crazy I was. I wanted to create this sort of aphrodisiac potions using herbs. So I was between 17 and 18. I was studying herbs to find a way that every man or woman could be at least, have this super fatal love attraction to each other. That was my goal. I was pretty crazy for a young man to go into this type of, goals. I was very into that. So I didn't say study like you, but I was really into books. And I was experimenting, and finally I found out. I made my first formula, this alcohol extract of several plants that was almost like a secret formula that I tested on my friend. That look at me like, so what? What's supposed to happen now? So maybe not. But anyway, it was funny, but I really enjoyed that study. And of course, I wish I could have continued, because there was only one thing that fascinated me. But I really found out, since I was a young man, with my grandmother in Italy, we used to have this book of a monk, Italian monk, that Frate Indovino, and it was all about herbs, natural remedies, and how many things you can cure yourself. From history, from the ancient history, you will see how many things you have around you that you don't realize, that you can really at least make your life better quality. That's for sure. Listen, I'm very excited. When is the day for the first class? Again, when is starting the first class?
Well, the next session, because there's one that's already going on right now, but there's another one that is going to be starting on March 6th.
Okay.
So all they have to do is go to herbalprepper.com. You can scroll down, look for the red box that says Herbal Skills Intensive. Click on the Learn More here. It'll take you specifically to the page that describes the course.
Okay.
And there's tons of links there that, people can register for the course. Now, the first one that I did, I had a huge response. I had like 40 people sign up. I'm limiting it this time because it's a little overwhelming to have that many all at once. So it's going to be limited this time, so that I can have this a little bit more interaction and I can better address individuals. So I'm going to cut it off at 20.
Let's say again how much the price. I'm just curious because I want everybody understand it's affordable. How much would be the price for the online class? herbalprepper.com.
It's $100 for the 8-week course.
Well, I think I may get it too at this point. I'm going to try to organize myself because I think this is really good. By the way, you don't need to be a prepper to use herbs. If you, in regular life, I use herbs every day while I cook and sometimes even when I don't feel well. Rosemary, chamomile, just the easiest thing. Mint, peppermint. There's so many things just for the beautiful things that you can enjoy life better. I'm not even talking about, when you're sick. You can use herbs just to enjoy life better. That's what I really like about herbs. Anyway, Lisa, I want to thank you very much, Kat. This was great information. I want to say everybody out there, thank you for listening. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. If you want to keep this show free, then we can pretty much bring anybody we want. And we can say things that normally many sponsors, they will look at you. What? You brought me down. You, the big, we sell pharma. We sell medication. Guess what? That's fine. We can sell whatever you want. But on this show, we talk about whatever we want. Please go to ZannaCoffee.com. Buy some coffee. We appreciate it. In this way, we don't need to beg for sponsors. ZannaCoffee.com, and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. And hopefully next Sunday, God's willing, I'll talk to you again. Ciao.
He's a songwriter, a poet,
a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.